that's why I don't do a whole lot of these. I'm worried after this, people are going to be like, "Hey, let's do one." I'll be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I'll invite you if I want to do one."
You did radio like all the time. I don't want to hear it.
That's true. That's true. I was a little more patient back in my younger days. So,
like last year.
yeah.
Oh god, good times.
Yeah. All right.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm just gonna do a little intro here. All right, guys, I want to welcome you all to a special edition of Triad Radio. We'll go ahead and call it Triad since that's the promotion that I'm currently involved in. And we've got a special guest tonight. You may know him as Cypher or Superior Cypher or CYPH3R. He's recently released from prison.
Yeah,
and he's here to talk all things ice and e-fetting and OCW and all kinds of good stuff. So let's get right into it. You love him. He's the man. Here is Cypher.
Hey man, thanks so much for doing this. I mean, like, this was sort of born out of us just talking about. I think I sent you the Iceberg, and I was like, "Hey, remember when we did this on radio, and we didn't get to finish we got like halfway through, and then we had to end it, and like I think since then." You and I have both sort of like wanted to come back to it because it's like man, we stopped before we got into the really juicy stuff at the bottom, you know.
Yeah.
But and so obviously, most people probably know me. When did I was, doing stuff last year. I think I would have stopped sort of towards the end of last year, I think, when I got like the promotion, got the new job, editor role, and then because stuff just became hectic, like work, and I was like writing, I was writing matches for Level Up, and I was role playing obviously for OCW, and I was also role playing for like Level Up on occasion because sometimes they would book Cypher. It was like the writers, would randomly have all their characters compete against one another, just for fun. So, I would write like role plays for that. And the problem with me is I actually really like writing matches, and I sort of like have this own quality that I hold myself to. So I like end up writing like probably way more than is necessary, especially for TV like for matches that aren't like a pay-per-view or a premium live event or whatever we're calling them these days. So anyway, so I sort of stopped towards the end of last year, and I was hoping to come back to the start of this year, but had some personal stuff going on, and I've sort of been lurking, on Twitter, just sort of watching, and every now and then popping up and liking something, just because, I don't know, I didn't want to commit myself to anything while I was still sort of like getting life back on track. But now, eventually I sort of thought, I came up with this really cool idea of like, sort of a storyline that I want to follow with Cypher now that he's out of prison. And if you want to know why Cypher was in prison, well, it's kind of, it was like just a culmination of a lot of things that he had done and gotten away with that ended up biting him on the ass at the end of the day. And he also betrayed his quote unquote friends in the Thad and Sahara and Seb and Sloan and maybe anyone else who had some trust in him.
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah, pretty much everybody. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like I didn't want him to become not too nice, but like a lot of I tend to include a lot of humor in my tweets with him, and I think that just sort of translates to people enjoy interacting with him, and then the characters kind of become closer and more friendly as a result of that. Even though I'm trying to play this like this heel character, he is a scumbag. He really is a scumbag, and he gets away with a lot of it, I think, because when he had the feud with Lizzie Hope, like some people like to hate on Lizzie, so he sort of, even though she was the face and he was the heel, a lot of people are like, yeah, get him, Cypher, even though he was doing like crazy stuff, like stalking her girlfriend, which was formerly his girlfriend, which is what I ended up getting him in prison for anyway. So yeah, but it's nice to be back. Yeah, and really cool to see that you're still involved. I had no idea you were the Triad person. Like I didn't know. I just hadn't looked into it because I'd just been lurking, as I said. So finding out that like you are the Triad guy was like one of those ones where I was like, man, I'm so happy Will's still going, because I obviously saw that OCW isn't, you're not leading that anymore. I mean, that's a whole other story, right? With the multiple different OCWs, and we'll get into that. But yeah, I'm just really excited that you're here and to be talking to you again. It's so cool.
Yeah, man, it's great. When you popped back up, I was really excited, and I remember you joined OCW. I think it was around February of 2022.
22, yeah.
Yeah, and at first I didn't know how to take you because I thought you were some murder house guy trying to, mess with me, and I remember when you joined, a couple of members were like, "I'd watch out for him." I was like, "Well, we'll see," And showed your first match or two, and I thought, this ain't gonna work. But you're like, "No, I want to stay," because you liked one of the videos I put out, and yeah, you started role playing, and you're one of the most talented role players that I've met in the last couple of years, man. Just really, really talented, and your role plays have a quality to them that very few people have, in that it's 2,000 words, but it reads like it's 200. It's just a very fun, quick, effortless read.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that, man. I really do. Like, and yeah, you're right. I mean, I had a weird start with Cypher. Like, as you mentioned, like I was in the murder house thing. I honestly, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, the game is so different to what it was when I made my first character back in 2008. And like, because then Twitter wasn't even really a thing. Like, it was there, but not. Most people use forums and boards, etc. And like the Fed I really got stuck into had like a chat box at the bottom where we would like just, that was our main method of like out of character communication, and also private messages, etc. So when I came back, and I was like, I want, like, because I knew that it had progressed to being more Twitter based, but I didn't really know how it worked. But eventually I just said, screw it, I really want to do this character that I've had this idea for, which is sort of like a computer geek, but he can also wrestle, and he's like the how do I describe it? The prodigy of my first character, which, by the way, was like a Joker, Heath Ledger Joker character.
Yeah. I've seen a few of those.
Which was the style at the time.
Yes.
So anyway, I was like, yeah. And then I also came up with Emma, who was the daughter of my first character, who's called Rob Langdon. And anyway, I was like, I'll have these guys, be to, Cypher and her be together. And anyway, it was kind of like throwing a dart, blindfolded at a dartboard to be like, what Fed am I going to join? And I don't even remember why I chose Murder House. I think it might have been because I knew there were a couple of people that I knew that were involved with that. But, I had no idea in terms of like the out of character drama that was associated with that Fed. I found out very quick.
It didn't take long. Yeah.
No, and I actually got like fired.
You got fired?
Well, because I was doing most people do know this, but I did a role play, and back in my day, they were a lot freer with the language.
Gotcha.
So I used a word that the Fed head didn't approve of, and really kind of went off.
I've known that guy for 20 years.
Yeah,
that fed head, and the fact that he would fire someone over a word like that is the most ridiculous thing. Because that guy was the most offensive. That guy.
Yeah, well, like that's the thing, but like after around the whole time this was going on, it was like Murder House was like at war with action wrestling, and like also you guys. I think around the same time, or like maybe after. And well, I mean, you single-handedly brought the end of Murder House, right?
Yeah. Well, what happened was I'm on Twitter, and he starts like sending me these messages or these tweets like, "Yeah, your roster may be good, but it ain't as good as mine." And I'm like, "Who is this guy?" And then someone said, "Oh yeah, that's so and so." I'm like, "That's him." Oh, fuck this guy.
Honestly, like, just watching the tweets that were coming out on, like, the OCW Twitter account, I was just like, oh my God, this guy is going in. This is, like, ridiculous. Like, and then the Fedhead disappeared, and then, like,
oh yeah,
Murder House just kind of disintegrated. Devlin made a follow-up to it that I was like, it wasn't role play, it was angled, and I was in that for a little while, and then I was sort of like, actually right after I got like fired, like he technically like rehired me afterwards, but then I didn't get to have a match because the whole Fed exploded. I was like, you know what, I really, because I was kind of like bummed out, and I was like, man, maybe my style is just not going to gel and work with how things are now. So I really do miss writing matches, because I used to do that back in the day. So I was like, you know what? I just want to write matches and not worry about like role playing for a little while. So then I was like, hey, Level Up's kind of cool, and I'm really glad I got involved with them, because I love those guys. Like, and I really hope that it does come back. But like, for what they accomplished, like it was, like we accomplished a lot together, and I felt good to be able to contribute to that. But in the end, I sort of thought, well, I would love to. I really kind of want to like do a restart, sort of start over with Cyphers. So I think that was what ended up me coming to you guys. I think also because I knew that you favored creativity, and you weren't super strict on like everything having to be like real life accurate, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You could be more zany, like Alice Knight, that kind of deal. So yeah, and then I like, and yeah, I think I no-showed because I was like writing like 3 or 4 matches for a pay-per-view for Level Up, and also doing a role play for Level Up, and I just like didn't have time to write a role play for like a TV match, and I felt bad about that, obviously, but yeah, and then but as I said, I decided that I wanted to keep going, and in the end, glad I stayed. Cypher won his first championship with OCW, which I was really excited about, because it was sort of like you get to a point where you're like, man, am I just like not going to be able to have any success with this character? But I appreciate that you appreciate the style of what I bring to the table, I guess. And well, once you know that like you're sort of going in the right direction, it becomes a lot easier to keep writing.
Absolutely,
storylines, etc. Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And you're one of the few. There haven't been many who no-showed their first match or two, and not only stuck around, but were actually good. So it's a rare. You're a rare breed, my friend.
Weird EFED facts.
Yes.
That'll be like if we ever have like a trivia, EFED trivia, that would be like one of those like trivia questions. It's like, which of these characters no-showed their first match, then went on to be successful?
There you go.
Cypher will be like in there with a bunch of random dudes who like never actually never actually wrote a piece for a match ever. So yeah, no, that's funny. I don't even. It's weird. I don't even think about that because I had such a bad start. Maybe I just block out everything from before I started winning.
Yeah, it's like we'll just redact that whole early part where I lost.
Yeah,
and then we'll remember the winning. So
exactly. Remember all the OCW fun stuff. Because I mean, what also helped me was I think around like when I joined OCW, sort of like Thad reached out and said, because we had some Twitter back and forth, and getting involved with Thad and that whole group gave me a lot of like ammo to sort of like write stories where like Cypher's like, they sort of want kind of befriending him, but he's also very like, I don't really want to trust anyone because he's just not that kind of character that trusts people. So yeah. And then when he ultimately betrayed them all, it was like probably emotionally bad for them and everyone, but it was like I was like, this feels great. I love betraying everyone in my life.
I love betraying all my friends.
Yeah, but it's true. It's like I think people sometimes let that mold their character or change who they are. If to please people, you know what I mean? And I think that's what I always try to. I want to subvert expectations as much as possible. And like, I mean, I don't really know anyone else who's actually had their character go to prison, and which is like something where like, having a real life consequence for some of the stuff that your character does.
That's true. You see, most of the characters, they are coming out of prison when they join a fit. It's like, yeah, I spent 20 years in prison. It's like, all right, we get it. You're a tough guy.
Yeah, but
they don't ever go back.
I was like, I just did 30 years in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be surprised some of those murder house people weren't, in prison before, just judging by some of the stuff that went down, in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you get a character who's like, yeah, I just finished doing 50 years in San Quentin. It's like, you're using a fucking John Cena pick base, man. Like, I don't know who you think you are, but all right.
Yeah, it's very realistic that a former felon would be the face of the company, right?
Yeah, or be a pick base of somebody that's like 30 years old. So, okay, right. And good looking,
Yeah. But and also Cypher got his 3 from OCW.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
names.
right.
I have to, bow down to you because you were you're genius. Well,
there are so few of me. I know. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, how's Triad? How are you finding that? Is it like, do you like it the same as OCW, more than OCW, less than OCW?
It's got its ups and downs, I when I handed OCW off, I was pretty much done. There was this whole thing. I was getting doxxed by this crazy guy, and I just thought, this ain't worth it,
Not again.
Yeah, right. No, this guy was actually pretty creepy. Good news is he's an idiot, so he doesn't know how to dox properly. I actually found out who he was. He never found out who I was.
Is it someone I know or no? Before my
his name is Gabe Reno. That's his main character. I don't think so, because I had never heard about him until he joined, and then he, I don't know, just freaked out. But it was one of those deals where it's like, this guy probably can't do anything to me, but is it worth it, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, hell no. Like, yeah, I mean, if half of the stuff that had happened to, like, to you, and that if that happened to me, I'd probably never step foot in e-betting again.
Dude, it's bad. Like this week alone has been rough, man. Like you
really?
When you collect all these people from around e-betting into one place, and you write shows with their characters, and you don't know their characters that well, and you can get some negative feedback, and it is what it is. But no, Triad has been really, really good so far. I want to do something different, that's what keeps me in this is doing different things. I just don't want to do the same Fed over and over with the same weekly show and the same yearly pay-per-views. I want to try new things, new concepts, new ideas, because otherwise there's nothing really in this game that motivates me. And so
definitely. I was just gonna say, like I think that's the death knell for most eFeds, right? Because say you do like a calendar like of pay-per-views, right? Like that is so much fucking writing. Each pay-per-view is a heap of writing, like, and then you put in the shows in between, and the segments and everything, and like we're trying to imitate a company that has just sort of functions on its own, that has so many employees, and all this. I'm not saying we're all trying to be WWE, but we're trying to match that model of weekly show, pay-per-view, weekly show. And then and the thing with WWE is there's no real time off. There's not.
No.
And so if you're really trying to imitate that, it becomes people get burnt out. It happens, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just we're, because I would say most of the time when I join a Fed, there's we get through maybe one or maybe 2 calendar years, if we're lucky, 2 calendar years, and then they're just nah, I'm done. You know what I mean? And I don't blame anyone for that.
No, and the thing that I find, because I've pretty much done everything, and in OCW, I've run it for 2 years in a row. I've run it. I've had what I would call the best roster that you could have, conceivably in e-fetting. I've had this show, and after a while, the cycle just sort of gets mundane. It's all right, now it's time, and I think that burns you out too, because you're thinking, okay, I got to write another massacre with 5 matches that whatever, and when you've had the writers the level of you and Sahara and Matt Mayhew and Vodka and so on and so forth. You get another talented writer, and you're like, well, that's great, but I've had time. So it's I don't know. It's you just need new things for me, you need new things to break up the cycle and to make it, I don't know, worth doing. So
yeah, and I think these how it is these things that are different, as you said, to the normal schedule of it. These things that are more like a tournament, or what you're doing with the trial, where it's a series of competitions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think these might be some of the things that I think we should strive more towards than, like you said, weekly shows. If we could have, maybe a few of these events throughout the year, and then the rest of the time just sort of be off time to work out what you want to do with the character, what storylines might be featured, and I don't know, maybe just have more breaks in between big events and stuff. I think, honestly, it'd be good for everyone.
Yeah, and what if you had and and I'm just speaking off the cuff here. I haven't discussed this with my other 2 owners, but what if you had a thing where when Triad ends, you had the Triad champion, and then that Triad champion could go and defend that Triad title at big events at other Feds as a premier match, and you could just go around and have that Triad championship just go around, and it'd be a thing, right? That exists in the world of e-fetting, and then and you could have other events like that, and just have these Fed-wide accepted championships that people hold, and they defend at shows, and it adds something to these shows people do. You like Bacchus is doing his show. What if you had the Triad champion defending his championship at that, or something like that, to help these one-off shows and whatnot have have championship matches,
or champion versus champion stuff. That stuff's always fun. And
it is.
Have you ever done a Cyber Sunday or Taboo Tuesday kind of pay-per-view?
Man, I think I tried it once, but it's a hard concept, because you're typing the matches ahead of time. So
Yes.
to have it like live, I mean, I don't know how you would do that unless you just release the results throughout the week, like a little bit here, a little bit there.
Yeah.
I think what I did was I had people vote on matches, and then I released. Yes, I did that. I had a thing called oh shit, what was it called? It was social. It was called like social justice or something. And it was justice. Yeah, and it was at the roof of the Twitter headquarters, and I had the fans vote on the matches, and what they did was like the wrestlers who were not very politically correct. The fans just voted on the matches that would fuck them over the most. So
we had one like back in the old set where I was like a world champion, like back in 2008, 2009. We did that, and like we had it like for my championship match, we had like all these like good stipulations that they could choose, and then one that was like based off of the Punjabi prison match from WWE. And they fucking like the votes were like overwhelmingly in favor of that because I think they were just trolling us, and the Fed had to make him write like a Punjabi prison match. Like, just I don't even know why it was one of the options, but they called it a universal disaster match, and it could not be more aptly named because it wasn't disaster. Like, it was fine, but it was just like, man. It just doesn't feel like a great stipulation, but like whenever you sort of throw one of those more like troll kind of options in, like people are going to vote for it. So yeah.
Well, like in OCW, when I would have if I had people vote on match stipulations, the one stipulation I never included was the bull rope match because I let it be known I hate writing that match. And I just knew those fuckers would vote for that. And I'd have to write a fucking bull rope match where these two guys are tied to each other for the entire time,
More like a dog collar match.
Yeah, right? Same concept.
It just sounds so weird. Like, imagine trying to explain like wrestling to someone. Oh, God, and then they see this like BDSM type match stipulation and they're like, what is going on here?
It's like, well, why don't they take the collar off? Because they can't. Well, why not? Because they can't.
They're not allowed to.
If they're not allowed to. But why would they agree to that? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. How far through are you with this triad stuff? What are you up to?
We have one more trials set after the strength trials. It's the WIT trials, and those start in February. And after that, the 15 qualifiers will go to the Great Illuminatis, and they will fight to be the triad champion.
Awesome.
The WIT trials are going to be based on Nikola Tesla, and I'm going to have events centered around electricity. And so it's going to be like I'm thinking like ladder matches, electrical current, all kinds of interesting stuff. So,
are you thinking electrified steel cage?
Probably not that, but maybe what I'm thinking. And I don't want to give too much away, but I'm thinking there's these electrical orbs, and you got to turn them on, climb up and turn them on, and when all four are turned on, it electrifies. I don't know. I'm thinking some kind of. So, basically something on a pole match, right? But something to do with electricity.
Everyone loves something on a pole match.
Yeah, something on a pole match. Yes. A lot of people do love that.
No, it just reminded me of like TNA back in the day had like a quote unquote electrified cage match.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was just purely superficial. Like, obviously they weren't going to put them into like a cage with live current, but the electricity was just like sort of this like blue lighting, but they still had to pretend like they had to sell that they were getting electrocuted.
I think I remember seeing a clip of Devon. I was like, man, he's selling the shit out of that.
Yeah, well, they had to because otherwise, you break the immersion, and it's like, yeah, sure, the immersion that they're actually getting electrocuted. All right.
They're having all these volts pass through their body, and then 5 seconds later, they're hitting the Dudley Death Drop. So.
I tell you what, man, like, if you ever want to find some weird match ideas, you just look at old TNA stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like, I credit the attempted ingenuity, but, what was it? The reverse battle royal?
Battle royal, yes.
They had to get into the ring.
Get into the ring.
I'm thinking, I understand you're trying to reinvent the Royal Rumble, but like that's so stupid.
Like it's so easy.
Yeah.
If you just ran full pelt at the ring, like no one's gonna be able to stop you, especially the bigger guys. Like they sell like Big Show being like hard to eliminate, like throwing him over. Try and stop him from entering the ring.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's or the quick guys. Right when the bell rings, all the quick guys would probably just dive in there,
Yeah,
and,
exactly. Right, the cruiserweights, just like handspring off of someone, fold over the top rope, like Anyway, so should we talk about this iceberg? Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into it?
Let me lead into it by stating this is an iceberg based on all the major, interesting, noteworthy happenings throughout OCW's torrid 20-some-odd year history. This is up until, I guess, when I handed it off to Strader.
Yeah.
So this does not have anything to do with the current multiple OCWs that are in operation. So this is just kind of a retrospective and a fun little bit and something that we never got to finish. So I have to give it to Cypher because he put it all together. So
yes, this is like back when I was like really engaged with e-fetting, and I make stupid icebergs about e-feds in my spare time. Like, didn't even get paid a cent. Unbelievable. But anyway.
That's when you know you love the game, man.
Yeah. Or maybe just love OCW a little bit too much.
I'll take that.
This is not like, there's no way this is, complete in terms of like, because OCW has been going on for way too long. If we were going to do an iceberg that chronicled literally like everything noteworthy, it would just go on forever. Like we would we would be in the Mariana Trench of of deep information. But anyway,
we'd be going where no Fed has gone before.
Yes, right. Well, I feel like you say that, but like OCW has probably gone there if you like try and think of a place.
We have just think about 20 years with a guy like me running a place and all the stuff that I've.
It's hard to believe that it's been going on for that long. Then most e-feds don't last 2 years, so credit to you and like I guess all the people who.
Yeah, a lot of help.
A lot of help. Yeah, lots of people who've been like with you for like that long, right?
Yeah. Good. You don't really. It's hard to think of them as like friends, but but they are. I mean, I've known some of these people for 20 years. Like I've grown up with them, just haven't ever hung out with them,
Yeah, I always wonder how like awkward an e-fed gathering would be of real people.
Dude, it would be super awkward. Like it would be. It would. I don't know. It would just be. It would be weird.
It would be weird. Yeah. I mean, even just like meeting someone who you only know online. Like meeting like one person that you only know online in real life would be awkward enough. Mm-hmm. But like meeting like all these people, Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Now, as I said, it follows the usual iceberg kind of deal. So the earlier levels will be like the stuff pretty much almost everyone knows, except if you've like never been involved with OCW, it might be a little bit foreign to you. But we'll definitely be taking more time once we get to the lower levels. So we'll kind of like breeze through these earlier levels because we have already gone over them, but for the sake of completeness, we might as well just go over the early levels as well rather than skip them. So of course we have Marcus Welsh. Who's Marcus Welsh, Will?
Well, Marcus Welsh, when I brought OCW back in 2017, the idea was that it was under new ownership because the previous owner, Dean, who had owned it the entire time, had lost it. And so the new owner was looking for a GM, and I did this whole hiring cycle with all these different new characters, and I just decided on Welsh and the Fossbender pick base. So he was a savvy businessman, ruthless, that was hired to come run a wrestling company.
I love Marcus Welsh. I love the guy. He's so quirky, but like, he's like, he's one of those guys who like, he just puts up with all this like random stuff as if it's kind of like normal. You know what I mean? Like he just like it never throws him off. He's always like, yeah, that's whatever, that's fine. I'm used to that. Anyway, Monday Night Massacre. How has Massacre always been the main like show of OCW, like TV?
Pretty much when we started, because back in the late '90s when you started a Fed, it was pretty standard to have at least 2 shows a week, sometimes 3.
Yes.
So we had Monday Night Massacre because everybody did on Monday because you had Nitro and Raw.
Yes.
And we had a Friday Night War and a Wednesday Night Pile Driver, and we had those 3 shows. And War and Massacre, I don't know which one was. I think they were equal. Maybe War might have been bigger, but as time went on, Massacre just became the bigger show because that's just kind of. I think as you got older, you developed sort of a personal life. You're like, I ain't writing this shit on a Friday.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. When I actually in the Fed I was in previously, we started with 2 shows and then we added a 3rd for a little while. Yeah, writing, it's hilarious to think that we used to, like, 3 shows used to be written per week. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Well, and 5 role plays in 5 days. Like, your window would be, Monday through Friday, and you're expected to write 5 role plays,
Yes. Yeah. And for us, it was like, best 2 RPs win. So to even, like, have a chance in the match, you had to write 2, which was... and no word limits or anything like that.
No word limits. Yeah. Like, you'd have guys that didn't do anything, ever leave the house, and they would drop some 10K piece. You're like, well, I'm going to lose. So.
I don't want to read this.
No, of course not.
OCW Twitter account, that's, pretty self-explanatory.
Mm-hmm.
Heat check, that's always like who's running the hottest, during any given like week.
Funny thing about the heat check is I've been doing it in Triad, and they don't get what it is. I did it throughout the whole trials, and they're all like, "What does this mean?" I'm like, "It's the heat check. It's checking your heat." I don't know how else to explain this.
Oh, that's hilarious. What about sportsbook? Do you do sportsbook in the Triad?
I do, but again, it's catching on a little better this go around in the trials. I've had some more bets, but the first trials there was like 3 bets the entire trials. So.
These non-OCW people are a little bit more savvy with their money.
They're like, "Is this real money? Do I really get?" I'm like, "No, this is not real money."
Real money, yeah, right. No one's ever got paid for doing e-betting. Oh, I hope.
Yeah.
OCW Radio, again, pretty self-explanatory. You did Triad Radio?
Yeah, we're going to be doing it every other Wednesday through these trials. What we're doing is we had 37 people in list, and we only took 16. So there's 21 who didn't get in.
Right.
And they're going through tribulations to try to earn a spot on the pay-per-view for like a battle royal. It's not a battle royal.
Oh, cool.
It's a multi-person match. Whoever wins that gets the first pick, gets to be the first pick of the next trials. So what they're doing is they're dropping 1 2K role play, and in the off weeks, we're going to go on radio and we're going to talk about the best 2 role plays, and they're going to move on to the pay-per-view. So rather than write a show, we're just going to talk about them on the radio. So
I know a lot of people talk shit about, like you said, podcasting and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say like every single podcast episode ever has been like of amazing quality, but I do like the ones where it's less like recounting your entire character's like life story, more so like focusing on what's been written. You know what I mean? Like role plays and critiquing them and giving feedback, because talking about giving feedback verbally is like a lot less like time consuming than like actually writing a post, which is like, because a lot of people like keep posting asking for feedback and they're like, man, no one's responding to me, they must all hate me. It's like, no, people just don't have the time, you know what I mean? So, but like doing it in like a live format, discussion like this makes it like a lot easier. And anyway,
people like podcasts that have information that is relevant to them.
Yes,
that's right. If we did this and it was just me or you talking about ourselves the whole time, you'd get a few listeners, but you talk about things that other people have an interest in, and more people want to listen.
Yep. So not accepting applications. We all know that slogan with OCW. But I guess do you ever whip that out anymore when anyone asks about, hey, can I join the Triad?
Well, basically, Triad is kind of built on that premise, in that you can enlist, but we're only taking 12, so you may not get in. Like, you are not guaranteed a spot. You know, and I don't know if you noticed, because you said you were kind of checking in and out, but over the summer you had Arcadia, which was run by the people who had Fight, and they did the "Are you exclusive?" Like, you know, once again, going with that, you may or may not be able to get in kind of thing. And
which is, you know, it's good. And it is realistic. And like, because not everyone who like tries out for a Fed makes it, and like you don't just want to let anyone in here, you know, because we've seen where that can go. Anyway, OCW forums. So now exists as like PWA forums,
I guess. Yeah, well, you know, it's Dre's vision, and the one thing I've told Dre is, if you're going to run it, be you, don't be me. And he ran a community called PWA, and so he's, I guess, bringing it under that banner. You know, it's his thing. So I don't, you know.
Yeah, cool, good. Yeah, it's good to know. It's good to know that they're still here after all these years. The forums. The OCW Championship. This is like a lot more straightforward when I first put it on the list.
I you know, I don't know what I couldn't even tell you the legacy of it since I left hardly. I know Sin won it from Pick, and Pick won it from, I think he beat Vodka for it. I don't know. Like, basically when I left, basically when I left, Mayhew was a champion because he had won the Great Illuminatus, and he was going to face Harmon Egan at the pay-per-view, and then I bounced. And since then, it's been what it's been. I think Knox right now he's the one that I would recognize as the OCW champion.
Yeah, Knox wanted us specifically to mention that he is the real OCW champion. So, you know, don't shoot the messenger. That's just, you know, that's what he said. So,
well, of course,
we're just going off by what he said. If you have any complaints, DM Knox.
Take it straight to mraven at 01 at Twitter or whatever it is. So
review thread. Do you still do that for Triad? Do you have feedback?
Yeah, we do.
Is it cordial?
Yeah, it's cordial.
Good.
I this last show, I got some reviews. First review was like a 9 or a 10. Great. Next review was like an 8. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then the next review was a 5.
Okay.
I've never gotten a 5 in my entire eFed history. Never gotten a 5. I was like, what, a 5? You know? And I mean, I've had professional writers in OCW, people who make a living writing, and they're very critical. They give me a 7.2. I'd never gotten a 5. So
wow,
I was like,
man.
It's like, well, that's a first. All right.
You really ruined someone's day, I guess.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, they gave good reasons, you know, but 5. I was like, well, all right. I guess I'm looking forward to that 4 the next time. So.
Cool. Well, that's good. I mean, I think generally they are good. I do like sometimes they can lead to like when drama and shit, as we well know, but it is good, I think, to gauge the feedback to see.
And I mean, I'm just joking about the 5. I mean, that's their opinion, and like,
of course,
what they said in the feedback, it makes sense, and I am going to apply it to make a better show next time. So,
see, look, that's a sign of a good Fed head right there.
Thank you.
And promos and segments, self-explanatory there.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll move down to the next level. That was the Sky. This is sort of also, this is like now the tip. So Stratas, I mean, that's also pretty self-explanatory. So like, I guess now, Strata is running PWA version of OCW, right?
Yeah. Tamika is the one running it, and there's Veronica, and there's Victoria, and there's Kara. And I'm sure there's many more to come. So.
Yes, there are a lot of stratas, and that will continue. Character color, again, pretty self-explanatory. You choose a color. I think I was like turquoise or something.
Yeah, like a light blue. Yeah.
Yeah, I love blue. Anyway, OCW Discord. Is that still popping?
I think so. I'm not in it. I didn't delete it. I handed the crown, because that's what they give you when you're the mod, over to Dre, and I think he's running it. What I liked about the OCW Discord the most was the cry room. I always thought the cry room was great.
The cry room, dude. Some of the stuff that went down in the cry room is like legendary. Let's just say that.
It's just so perfect. I think we need to build a cry room for Tri-Rad.
I love it so much. There's so many funny things that went down there. Anyway, Margarita Mix. I always thought this was. I love tag team focused things because even if it's just like, even if it forces people to team up, like it's good to have more stuff like tag team focused. I believe because I don't think there's enough, and I mean, and it's fair because there's not too many people who sign up making a tag team. You know what I mean? Like they don't. Their characters aren't written as a tag team. Sometimes they'll end up being a tag team because they'll tag with someone sometime and be like, hey, we should be a tag team. But, it is nice to have, something like the mix. Is that still happening? Or is that like...
I'm not sure. I know Dre, he's keeping some of the stuff.
Sure.
I don't know if he's going to do the mix, but I agree with you. I like the mix. And the thing about the mix and other match concepts is... It's a good way to reinvigorate and rejuvenate a Fed because it's basically an open invite tournament. And so you're able to entice some of these outsiders to just dip the toe in, right? And then when they do, you give them one hell of a match, write them a great match, make their character look awesome, and then they want to stick around. And each time I did one of those, I would retain two or three to the roster.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, this is funny because I, put the RP grading scale on here way back. And I was just having a look around the PWA forums, or OCW/PWA, and there's now an upgraded grading scale, but I didn't read it enough to know if it's like that different from your original one. So
yeah, I haven't looked at it. I know Triad.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Triad. We've tweaked it a little bit.
Yes.
It's basically, our three trials are bravery, strength, and wit. And so we're grading off bravery, strength, and wit, the three areas. Bravery being your promo, strength being your readability, and wit being your character development.
And wit being your Twitter interactions, right?
Exactly. Yes. Can you hang with me on Twitter? If you can't, sorry.
Can you hang with the triangle on Twitter?
Yeah, the triangle man.
Triangle's a fucking legend. I love the triangle.
Oh, it's so great. I don't even have to think. I just post AI stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, so those tweets are literally written by an AI bot, right?
Yeah. I take an idea and I send the prompt in and I'd say in 280 characters or less, and it spits something out and I throw it out there. So
honestly, the Sahara stuff is making my day, man.
I love
him having a photo with the tissues and shit on his bed.
Yeah. I thought I'd get some love over the one last night where he's in the hot tub and her picture's right there and he's got his hand in the water.
I think she's like, yeah, okay, I've seen the triangle with other women. I'm gonna feed him to an alligator.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was just like, oh shit, she's killing the triangle. No, I think you did that tweet where you're like, the Sahara Desert is one of the driest places. It's like, oh my god, that's so fucking crazy. Oh god, I love the triangle. Anyway, Tuesday night equality. I'm guessing that's not happening anymore.
I think when I left OCW, I think the guy that was running it, which was Dylan Thomas, he went with Zabala, and because they thought, and this is the way I saw it. When I left, I handed it to Dre, and then when Dre found out I was coming back for Triad, it discouraged him a little bit. He felt a little discouraged. And so he closed OCW down. So then at that point, somebody wanted to run it, and there was a former member who asked if he could run it. I said, you got to talk to Dre. Zabala wanted to run it, and I think Zabala thought they were going to run it. No, Zabala was going to run it, so he got Rob to work with him to run it. That's Dylan Thomas. And then Sin went off and opened their own OCW. So that's why you got those two splits. Yeah, and then Dre decided to reopen it a little while later and do like a 4-show-a-year pay-per-view or schedule or something. But no, equality was a joke that I did to make fun of some people, and you liked the video so much you joined, and
there you go. Yeah, no, I honestly you're you're very I don't know, like what do I say? You're very like your sarcastic wit is like somewhat almost unmatched in the realm of e-fetting and Twitter. I'm just like I look at some of the stuff you do and it's just like, man, I know I'm supposed to be angry, but I can't help but like laugh at it.
Because it's just so absurd. It's like how can you take it seriously?
Yeah. Okay, so Deathmatch and Deathmatch is like that's a pay-per-view, isn't it? That's
it was a traditional pay-per-view. It was a Survivor Series format. Survivor Series matches. The survivors from each match go on to a elimination match in the main event, and the winner is the sole survivor.
Yeah. And was Paramount a stable?
Oh God, yes, it was a terrible stable.
Yeah, I think that was. I literally think that's only on here because it was like happening when I was in OCW. Opt-in thread. Is it still like an opt-in basis with the triad, or like you have to, you just sort of booked and you go and you?
Yeah, no. Basically, right after the draft, we booked the entire series of trials, and then we release all the matches, so you know exactly who you're going to face what week for the next 10 weeks.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, you get to pre-write and everything, and then the pay-per-view is based on results. So whoever earned the most points is put into what match on the pay-per-view, and whoever won their divisions, the 3 teams, there's 4 teams this go around, they go to the main event and they fight for the piece of the triad. So the pay-per-view is scaled based on results through the 4 trials that were booked after the draft.
Is the triad the triangle?
No.
Is it pieces of him?
It should be. It should be. I mean, maybe we'll call an audible, and when they get to the top of the Great Illuminatus, the triad guy sitting there with his Sahara picture and all his tissues everywhere.
No, but they each have a piece of the.
Yeah, right. I should do that. I should just have him like after each trial, like every time I do a render of him, he's just missing an angle. You know.
Oh man, that would be funny. Anyway, what about segments? Do you guys do segments for the triad, or is it just matches?
We do, but people don't do a whole lot of them. This last show, we just had one. And then the previous trials, most of the segments were me going to people and trying to get stuff worked out. So, I might do a segment thread because I think that might prompt some people to go ahead and do them. I think people were maybe a little unsure because of the format and how it's predetermined that they may not want to disrupt the flow.
Mm-hmm. I remember that there were a ton of segments for OCW. There was tons of varying quality, of course, but usually pretty good.
It was like one of my CDs I used to burn when I was young, where you'd have like Eminem on one track and then the next track is like Marvin Gaye. You know?
Yeah, because sometimes they didn't quite like flow into one another.
Yeah, you'd have like Alice Knight doing stuff with owls and mustard, and then right after that, you roll straight into a death match. You know?
Yeah, it's not really anyone's fault. It's just how e-setting works.
Yeah.
Especially because it's multiple people, writing the show as well. So, okay, so we'll move down to the next level, which is like the first underwater level. OCW TV. That was a cool thing. I imagine that's not really a thing for Triad. Like, have your own.
No, not really. We have the Tribune, which is our news wire, and we have a character development board, which actually gets used quite often. But
that's good.
No, nothing like OCW TV. That was an Alice Knight thing, I think. She wanted.
It was. Yeah, yes, that's what I mainly associate.
It was sort of. I think it was inspired by Splat. She liked what Splat was doing and kind of wanted to do thing. And
right.
It's a good idea. Just didn't take off.
Yeah, it was definitely like an OCW thing. You know what I mean? It was. It definitely fit the bill.
The shows on there were crazy.
Yeah, they were. Hall of Fame. Is there anyone new that's been inducted into the Hall of Fame recently?
There was. Okay, so
the Great Khali.
Well, not quite. So I did this great big thing for Zabala. I shocked him with the Hall of Fame at the end of last year, and he was really. It was one of my all-time favorite moments as a Fed head because you could tell it meant so much to him.
Awesome.
And then, and then when I handed the Fed off and left, I got an email from Dre that he was inducting me, TLS, and himself into the Hall of Fame. So we had those three.
I love Jamie. That's so funny.
Yeah,
he inducted himself. I mean, look, he probably does deserve to be in there. I won't lie, but it's just hilarious. Like
it is. It was like one of the first moves he did. Yeah.
I mean, look, not to say that you guys don't deserve. I mean, of course you do. Like you are. You know, of course TLS does, but it's just funny that he would induct himself.
Yeah. He asked me he asked me if I would accept it. And I really was like, I don't really think I should be in it, but I didn't tell him that. I was like, because I didn't want to discourage him, you know. I wanted him to just do his thing, and I said, yeah, do it, man, do your thing. So, but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, well, you're gonna get some shit for that, okay?
Yeah, I mean that's just that. I mean, it would be the same for anyone if they were to induct themselves. You know, but to be fair, I mean, look, like Snoop Dogg's in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's true.
You know, like Hall of Fame's kind of become a little bit loose these days, huh? Anyway,
it is, and look, he's running the place, and it would be dead if it wasn't for him. So
of course,
you know, and I think the Straters have done enough to warrant consideration.
So. Of course, big no shade whatsoever, because
exactly.
It's just a funny situation.
Yeah, it was. The timing especially. Like, I would have probably waited a year, you know?
Which fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, Jones and Hood. Are they still commentating? Are they your commentary team for the Triad?
I didn't know if Dre was using them, so I used Pick's manager as the play-by-play, and I was using Leo as the guy. But now I love Welsh. Leo. Yeah, Leo's great. Yeah, now I'm using Welsh, but I might bring Hood in when it's all done because Dre's not using him anymore. So
okay, yeah, I remember Leo. That was good fun. Rankings. So do you have rankings for Triad? I think I saw you did make a tweet about like I wasn't sure if it was the heat check or if it was rankings or what it was.
Yeah, we recently did a tweet about the top 5 role plays.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have rankings in the way that OCW did. It's based off points. So you have 4 matches. And I'm sorry. Well, you do have 4 matches, but it's 4 4-way matches, and they're eliminations. So first person eliminated 0 points, second 1, third 2, the winner 3, and these points accumulate throughout the trials. So your rankings are based on where you place and how you do in each trial.
Great. Oh, cool. I like that. I like that a lot. I like it. Yeah, I like points based rather than just like arbitrary, like just sort of opinion based. You know what I mean?
It makes things feel more organized and more. More organized.
Yeah. Scruff, that was the referee, right?
Oh yeah, that was our ref. I'm using Tony the Spider for Triad, but yeah, Scruff, he was the old hobo ref from OCW.
Outsiders Championship Wrestling. Now that's still going, right? That's one of the 3.
Oh yeah, that dude, like E-Feding's gonna get nuked, and there's gonna be one Fed that survives, and it's gonna be that fucking place. Like Zabala is the most committed guy I've ever met. I mean, he is just committed to that thing. Like I was just sitting around one day, and I said, a backyard Fed would be kind of fun, where you just do 500-word shoot promos, and you had a bunch of shitty wrestlers. He goes, yeah, I'll do it. All right, we'll start it up. And I lost interest real quick because I was like, this isn't interesting. He just kept going, man. He just kept going. He has just not stopped.
It's like doing it more for himself now than anything else, right?
Yeah. And I look over there, cool. And I look over there, and I'm booked in like every show, and I don't even know it. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Wait, Marcus Welsh is booked, or like a different character?
Other characters like he had Dean booked. That was the former OCW Fed head. He was booked in a match, and he's apparently a commentator. I don't know. Zabala's such a nice guy. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care.
Right. And then enhancement talent. That was the whole thing, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. I remember that thread we created. I thought it would be fun for people to submit their goofy ideas for jobbers, and that went over pretty well. We had some memorable characters like All I See Bro and others. So
and the rest.
and the rest.
And the rest. Anyway, yeah. Prison yard match. Remind me what that was again.
Okay, so I was talking with another Fed head earlier because we were going over some ideas to help them attract talent to their Fed because they're struggling with members right now. And I was giving him some ideas on match concepts. And I was telling him every Fed does cage matches and Hell in a Cell and Rumbles and King of the Rings and all this stuff. So if you can take an idea and just add a little something to it, all of a sudden it's this fresh new idea and everybody finds it interesting. And so I did that a lot in OCW. And the prison yard match was Hell in a Cell, but like times 4. So you had one cell, and then you had another, 4 rings made into a giant square with the sides separating them from each other. And they could crawl out into the other cells, you know. And you had 8 wrestlers in there, 2 in each cell, and it was elimination. And you went down to one person remaining. And it was just, it's just a concept that took Hell in a Cell or cage matches and turned it into this bigger, more interesting event.
Yeah, cool. Reminds me of War Games a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like War Games, except...
which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what were you going to say, except...
Oh, War Games, except that it was like 4 rings. I think it was...
yeah.
And there's no top.
Yeah.
Like, they could climb... That's how they got into the rings, where they climbed in. If you fell out, you were eliminated.
Right. So it was... Yeah, so still sort of have, like, steel cage match elements to it, as well as Hell in a Cell. Yeah, cool. And speaking of, like, cells and things, the Great Illuminatus is like that's like the triple cage thing, isn't it?
Oh no, man! The Great Illuminatus is. I mean, that's what the whole Triad thing's building towards. That to me. I'm going to try to get this thing over as the most popular match in all of e-fetting. It's a pyramid. It's an actual pyramid.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yes, pyramid. Yeah. I was trying to find the word. Yes.
And it's like, basically think about a King of the Ring, okay, a one-night tournament.
Yep.
And take the brackets. You know how you see brackets and they move from like left to right?
Yeah.
And move them to where they're going vertical, to where you work your way up to there's one left. And that's what the Great Illuminatus is. You start out at the bottom of the pyramid, you fight, and when you win, you move up to the next level. And then you move up to the next level. And then you finally get to the top of the pyramid where it's 2 left, and they fight it out to see who the winner is.
Love that. Love the Great Illuminatus.
Oh, it's great. It's a fun match.
Now, Cheesy M.
Mm-hmm.
The, like, news guy, was it? News reporter?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I had this guy in the Fed named Silver Freak, and he was the first staff member I ever took on. And he created Cheesy M as his staff character, and he ran Pile Driver. And when I brought Pile Driver back, I just thought, well, I'll bring Cheesy M back. He ain't gonna care. And he's just sort of a cheesy, punny, dad joke kind of guy.
It's a real cheesy guy. I love how it's spelled. I love how it's spelled CHEAS. Why?
I bet you that wasn't intentional because we were so young and stupid back then.
Yeah. Now, Leo was like Marcus Buck's assistant. Is that right?
Yeah, like basically. Yeah. And have you ever thought you came up with an original idea and then you realize you just stole it from someone else? You just forgot they had it first. Has that ever happened?
Yes. Yeah, often.
Yeah, me too. Because I'll create a 40-year-old intern. So I did that. That was Leo, the high school intern, and he was 40 years old. And then Bifford comes back. He's like, "Dude, you stole my idea." I was like, "Oh, was that yours? Oh, I'm sorry."
I mean, it's fine. Like we all borrow from each other, like sort of subconsciously. It just matters how obvious it is. So yeah. Caps Lock. That was actually just a person who talked in caps lock all the time.
I forgot about him. I might have to. Yeah. Well, there was this guy in the Fed named Max Shade. People might know him as Zilla. He's been around for a while. I don't know if he feds anymore. He's a real talented guy, but kind of doesn't last very long. But we were going over fun character ideas, and we just started workshopping Caps Lock, a captain from the Air Force Academy who lost his hearing because he stood next to the planes too much, and he had to shout to everybody to talk to him. And he was Captain Roderick Slock, Caps Lock, So,
it's like, have you seen BoJack Horseman?
I have, yeah. You actually recommended that to me, and I started watching it. Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Did you remember the episode with Neil McBeal, the Navy SEAL?
Yes.
Like, I think it was like the MSNBC where they have it's like the based off of the actual, TV station with like an actual whale, and and they're like, I can't think of anything more offensive than stealing a meal from Neil McBeal, the Navy SEAL. It's like the greatest line ever. It's so good. And horror. I'm trying.
It's hooray.
Hooray.
Yeah, hooray.
That's what everyone says when they see her.
Yeah. Well, basically, with her, it was like, I think I had watched Spartacus Blood and Sand or Spartacus on Stars. If you haven't watched it, it's pretty good. It's
I haven't.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But they had an episode that was just titled Whore. That was the title. It was just called Whore.
Wow.
And I thought it was hilarious. And I thought, I need to make a character named Whore. And I thought, I can't be real mean about it. So it'll be Whore, but with a little apostrophe there in between the O and the R-E. And so she'll walk around and it's like, what's up, whore? And she's like, it's hooray, And
it's hooray. Yeah, that's hooray. Good. Okay. All right. So now we're sort of in the middle of the iceberg. Proud and strong.
Yeah.
That is a famous. That's just like yeah.
That goes back to a very interesting time. Right
after
the
Purge. Yeah,
right after the Purge.
Yeah.
It was sort of a bunker mentality. Like, are you back? Are you with me, or are you going to leave? And then I started developing. Well, we're proud and strong. We got to band together and stick together because everybody else hates us, and they did. Everybody else did.
And they definitely did.
Yeah, I bet you of the 16 people in Triad right now, 10 of them hated me right after that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, but like. I mean, everyone sort of hates everyone at different times during EFED. Yeah, that's how it goes. But yes, that was. I remember that so much, like just being and it probably got said more than most other things on Twitter, other sayings on Twitter. It was like, yeah.
It's one of those things where I was saying it and I was like, people are gonna make fun of this, but they're gonna hate it, and the more I say it, the more they're going to hate it. So I'm just going to say it all the fucking time, And
yeah. Oh, good. Portal potty. How does the portal potty work? Well,
okay. I'm trying to remember how that works. I know. Where did that come from? Because I remember I had a match.
That was it was something that Dre came up with, right? It was the Strata thing.
No, I came.
You came up.
He just started using it.
Right.
Yeah. There was a match with Brim and I think it was Zabala, or maybe it was Zabala. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
So there was this match between those three, and Zabala wanted a 3 Gardens of Eden match or something, where they're like in all these different places.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out how to get them in all 3 places. So I created a portal, and I'm trying to remember how I created. There's some explanation. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But yes, it was. We created a portal where you stepped into it and it could take you places, and it was unpredictable. And of course, it was in a porta potty, so it was the porta potty. So
awesome. Good summary.
Yeah.
Babysitters Club. Now, that's like the Cry Room.
Yeah,
except that was
that was part of the best OOC feud of 2022.
TLS versus Jace Parker Davidson.
God,
man,
back the wrong horse at the start of that. I mean, that was
that was. I mean, God, the Twitter back and forth literally felt like it would go on for the entire day.
Yeah,
Like, just
none of them
more.
would stop. It's like, okay,
They
stop, and they just kept going, both of them. You know?
did you like come in and try and like I feel like at different times you would come in and try and just be like, all right, guys, like just
Yeah,
go settle it in DMs. They would just ignore you and keep going, or they would like stop for a little while and then they just
yeah. They would
start
stop for a
again.
little bit, and then JPD would say something that was stupid,
Yes,
and then TLS would be like, "Oh, there he is again," and then it would start all over again. And
it's like I think so. JPD is kind of a troll, right? Like I think
I don't even
this.
think he's smart enough to be a troll.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
he was, but like some of the things he was saying were like
yeah,
subtweeting were designed to piss TLS off, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the thing with TLS is like I love the guy, but he, you know, what's I don't know, he's a little bit he's stubborn. I feel like he's stubborn,
Oh yes, he's
and
stubborn.
he's not like he doesn't like you can't get away with just like firing
No,
a
no.
parting shot against a guy. So
If
yeah,
TLS thinks something is stupid, he's going to
yes,
tell you it's stupid.
yeah,
And
absolutely,
and
yeah.
he and if you try to defend it, he's gonna just he's not gonna let it go.
No, you're not gonna get him to go back on anything that he's
No,
said. No,
no, not at
yeah,
all.
which is like it's fine. Some people are just like that, and which is
Which
fine. But it was just like they were sort of made for each other in a way,
it
in
was,
terms of
yeah.
like, yeah, it was just like the troll versus like the guy who was like
The
too
troll
on.
element.
He had too much honor to let anything go over. Yeah, to like let him get his way. So yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, that was a fun time.
it was.
Remember the island?
Oh yes, the island. Yeah,
Man, that was fun.
that was fun. I'm trying to remember dude. We had this badass pay per view planned right before I left. I don't know if you saw any of it. This was back March earlier this year, but
Right.
I had come up with this idea of
Yeah.
having a pay per view back on the island and dropping like 20 people on the island, and
Oh
it
yeah.
starts with them on the island wandering around. And when they run into each other, they have to fight, and whoever wins, that person leaves the island. And you just have them wandering around, bumping into each other, fighting. But the results are dropped like a little bit each day for like 2 weeks. So it's like a
Oh,
2 week event where they're out there, and each day you got more results coming, and it was on that same island that Frank the volcano had destroyed, and I bounced before we ever got to that. We had a great
yeah.
for it. So.
So yeah, like didn't I thought the island did get destroyed? Did it get destroyed?
Yeah, what happened was Frank the volcano got angry and he spit his lava everywhere, and Thad and his planes came in and saved us all. So
Yeah.
got us out of there before we all died. Yeah, we had a big show in this pit in front of the natives of the island.
The
And
natives.
they were all cheering, and we had a tag match underground in the catacombs, and it was fun. It was a good pay-per-view.
Yeah. Wasn't didn't one of the natives like wrestle or something like that? I can't remember. I feel
Probably.
like it might happen. Yeah. I don't
I'm
know.
trying to
It's a
remember.
long time. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
And I know we built up to it too. Like we landed on the island, and the whole month we were like investigating the island, and we would have random matches. Like you had a match that was what was that match? Like a palm tree match or something?
Yeah, something like that. Was that this like three way with like me, Sadie, Co, and the other guy?
I think
Um.
so. It was like your first big win.
Oh, actually no, because I lost that match.
Oh,
Maybe
did
it
you?
was.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it was the one on one with like Sadie or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember you were.
Yeah.
I remember because I didn't know you very well, and I was like, I hope he doesn't think this pineapple, this pine tree or this not pine tree, palm tree idea is stupid. But you're like, no, that sounds cool. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. I think it was like the second match that I did roleplay for, where I used to have this roleplay where like Cypher just like was like starving on the island, and then he like
yeah,
drank
that's
some
right.
like funny stuff, and then he started
That's
like
right. I remember
tripping
that.
balls. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
hilarious. That was good
yeah, I
fun.
remember that. Yeah, I think you did with
Um,
Sadie Co. Sadie Co was like unstoppable there for about a month, and then
I
you
know.
lost him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a shame because it's one of the most original characters
Very much, very
that
good
we've
writer.
seen. Yeah, yeah. X Factor. What's X Factor again? I
Oh
forget what that
God.
is.
Okay, so there was a Fed called CWF, and it was run by this guy named Rish. And I've known this guy since '01. I've never really liked him. He's always come across to me as just this fucking poser. I just don't like him. And so he brought CWF back, and I had OCW going, and I had a hurricane roll through here, and I lost my power. So for the 2 weeks while I was out of power, he got on the boards and he DM'd all the members of my Fed to come join CWF. So I was like, wow, okay, man. I'm like, all right, fuck you. So I just started trolling his Fed and making fun of it. And I saw he had reworked the grading system, and he added this thing into the grading system called the X Factor. And what it was basically was, if we think like one wrestler needs the win more than the other, we're going to give them points in the X Factor category. So
I see.
Yeah, basically a license to angle a match for convenience. So we created this X Factor championship in OCW, and it was basically for all the job characters. Like Zeus was fighting for it, and we did a video for it. The X Factor. When that great role play you did just isn't good enough, we just trolled the hell out of them with it. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Peter Vaughan, that's a name that hasn't been associated with OCW for a long time.
Oh man, as if I'm not in trouble enough on this radio show.
Hey, look, you can decline to comment if you so choose, my friend. I'm not gonna make.
Well, you know me. I can't help myself.
I know you. Yeah.
Peter Vaughan. I've known him since '99. He had the janitor in OCW, and then when I did the Purge, he bounced on me because he was more interested in his public perception on Twitter than he was sticking by and helping me out. And after that, I just thought, okay, well, cool. We just I see how it is. And since then, I haven't really had any dealings with him, but he's done well. I mean, look, he's talented. So
yeah, absolutely. Alice Knight mustard. Well, what's in the mustard?
Man, that's a recipe that I'm going to take to my grave. Yeah, Alice Knight, she's something, man. I hope she comes back soon.
Remember the Avatar posting? Do you remember that?
Oh God, yes, in the forum. She was all about Avatar too. I don't know why.
I never met anyone who loved Avatar 2 more than Alice Knight.
I think she's got a little bit of that humor in her, like I do, where she just commits to a bit, and it doesn't matter if anybody thinks it's funny. She's just gonna do it all the time.
Like, because I cannot emphasize enough how often she would post the what was it, like the trailer for
the trailer. Mm-hmm.
The trailer, like the same trailer over and over and over and over again. And I'd just be like, oh my God, shut up about this stupid Avatar 2. Then the funny thing is, like, once it like came out and everything, and it like, I kind of missed it a little bit. I wouldn't lie.
Yeah. You're like, where's our Avatar trailer? I mean, yeah.
It's right. There'll be an Avatar 3.
That's what she's waiting on. That's going to be a big return.
Is she not like active at the moment?
Not at the moment. She went kind of silent a few weeks ago, and she's got some stuff going on, so she'll be back.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, that's good. Access Denied. That was a pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, that was the first pay-per-view after the Purge. And
right, yes.
What I did was I had to piss people off, I hid most of the forums so people couldn't see what was going on unless they registered, and I accepted their registration. And so so the next pay-per-view was Access Denied, which was me making fun of how people can't get access to OCW. And we did it in Detroit, and it was this wild pay-per-view, and it was very much just like a meta thing where I was playing off of, hey, you guys can't see that, so that, but it was a fun pay-per-view. Yeah.
It's actually crazy, but I don't think I put the Purge itself on this iceberg. I'm just looking. I know I mentioned it around a lot, but how about we just we take a little detour. Why did the Purge happen?
you know, the further you get away from something, the more you develop a perspective on it.
Yes.
And I think my dealings with Triad here especially the last couple of weeks, has given me a much better perspective on why the purge happened. And I think when you open your Fed up to everyone and you bring everyone in there, you end up working with personalities that maybe don't jive with yours. And so they don't enjoy the product that you're putting out. See, like most Feds, they exist for certain people. So people join because they like what they see in the Fed. When you open up to everybody and you entice them to join, they come in and then they don't like what you're doing. And then it causes frustration and it causes uncertainty. And you get in your head a little bit like, am I putting out bad stuff? And it's like, no, I'm putting out the same stuff I always have. I just have people in here that don't like what I'm doing. And it's making it no fun for me. So what happened with the purge was we had gotten so big so fast because that not accepting applications was such a huge selling point. People really wanted in, and we had built such a high profile thing that when I started accepting, we just got everybody. And then when I started working with these people, there was a lot of them I just didn't like working with, and it was really killing my creativity because it just wasn't fun. Because I was worried about walking on eggshells and placating this ego and placating that ego. And I woke up one day and I just said, fuck it. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm getting everybody out and I'm going back to basics. And that's what it was.
Did people know that it was happening, or did they just get
no, they woke up one day and it had happened. There was no heads up. It was not handled the right way. Because
I mean that's the one thing. Like, because I this is me personally, I understand it. Like, I get it, obviously, but that's the one thing I'm like, man, the people probably should have been told what was going to happen.
I should have, and I should have been more judicial in who I purged and who I didn't, because there were some people that got purged that I shouldn't have purged. Like there was maybe 3 or 4 that were giving me constant headaches. If I'd have just removed them, it'd have been fine. But I was pissed off, and as you've seen with me, sometimes when I get pissed off, it's like, all right, here we go. So But as I get older, and I will say this, not to meander too far.
No, go on.
Over the last couple of years of my life, I have changed a lot of things, and I've developed a lot more patience with people than I used to have. So I'm a better, stronger triad guy.
That's and look, man, the triad's going proud and strong right now. Yes. So we're back at it. Oh my God, remember Beach Boy? That was JPD, the song. Yes, I do remember. I think TLS and maybe Pick did together.
Yeah, Pick and TLS did it. Yeah.
Oh man, so it was basically like a version of Shawn Michaels' "Sexy Boy" music,
yes.
But they called it Beach Boy and they made it about Jace, which was funny. That was such a time.
It was one thing after the other, and nobody lost their cool. That was the thing about it. They just kept blaming each other, but nobody got mad. They were just like, okay, and you think, well, at least somebody get mad. So
no one spit
The only people getting mad were the ones not involved that had to watch it.
Yeah, actually, because I was fucking pissed off. I remember that time. Because I was like, guys, you're not helping with the whole image of this Fed. Like, everyone already thinks we're fucking, like, we're like the weird, wacky, like, out west, Fed in the e-Feding world. And you've just got, like, the members of the Fed, like, bashing each other constantly. And also, like, JPD would bash more than just one person. Like, he would bash a lot of things.
JPD was the problem. Like he came in and he tried to swing his dick around and act like and TLS was, to his credit, was like, hey man, this Fed's been around for 20 years. I don't know who you think you are. And
yes, the funniest thing I remember Jay saying was that he was the best heel in the company.
Yeah, I know. Just it is 4,000 word segments. Like, who the freak writes 4,000 word segments?
And I was like, man, like, I don't know. like I don't have a big head. I don't big note myself, but like people fucking love Cypher as a heel.
Yeah.
So anyway, I took it personally, but I shouldn't have, but I did. So
the thing
anyway,
about JPD is, and I don't know if he's going to come up anymore in this, but the thing about him was, when I first meet people, I try really hard to cater to them so that they can feel comfortable and then get incorporated into the OCW melting pot.
Yeah.
And I did that with Jace, and my God, dude, did that ever backfire? Like I still liked him even after he quit until he did those screenshots, and then that was like, all right, well, okay.
Yeah. That went down pretty fast. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Anyway, let's move on. Truth or Consequences. Now that was also a pay-per-view?
It was. I'm trying to.
What was the deal with that one?
Okay, so Mac O'Connor had given me a match concept the previous year called it was something off of poker terminology. It was some poker thing. I forget the name, but the concept was you had these series of triple threats or fatal four-ways, whichever, and there's like 3 or 4 of them throughout the night, and you had all the wrestlers competing that night at ringside, watching the one match that was going on.
Yeah.
And they could,
I remember this now.
Yeah, they could interfere in that match. But if they interfered, the people that are there could stay and interfere in their match. So there's consequences for your actions.
Yes. That was really fun. That was great.
And so I called it, I changed the name to Truth or Consequences because we were doing it in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, and I had got Silver Freak to come back as the special ref. That was his hometown. And, and pay off his 20-year feud with Bifford. So
there you go.
Changed the name. Yeah, that was a fun pay-per-view.
It really was. I remember that. Ownership. I mean, it's that's changed a lot over the years.
Dude,
obviously,
that was complicated when you first made this, and it's gotten triply complicated.
Even more complicated. Yeah. Anyway, we probably don't need to go into like that in detail, but suffice to say, ownership has changed hands quite a lot.
When the Fed's been around for 20 years, you're going to have a lot of different owners.
Yeah.
So.
That's right. Epic Summer. That was the like.
Oh yeah.
I remember being so like, what is it like? It was like every single show would have like a little thing like Epic Summer is coming, and I was like, oh, what is it? And that was Pick's ultimate like reveal, right? Yeah. What was his character? What was he called before Pick? It was something.
Dozeron.
Right, Amic. Yeah, Amic. I remember that being like the strangest name. I put Triad on here, but I mean we've already sort of talked about that, so we probably don't need to go into that too much. Okay, we'll move to the next one down. Tuesday Night Equality during the Purge era.
Well, that was the video that got like 100 views and created quite. Like, Denzel wouldn't talk to me for months after he tweeted out that video.
Oh, God, that was funny.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
He is. Duke's Takeover. Yeah, that was a whole story-line. Power struggle, kind of.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah. Zabala. Well, we have talked about Zabala. You have anything to say about Zabala?
I will just say that there is not a more pure of heart individual in this game than Mike Zabala. He is just the nicest dude ever.
Which is awesome. You want plenty of those around your Fed.
Yes.
Raging Skull. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was like...
He's still around, man. He pops up on Twitter every once in a while, angry as ever. So the funniest thing about this guy was he found us... he found us by searching the Discord wrestling servers. And
right.
He didn't have any idea what the hell we were. And so I sent him to the forums and he signed up and he used his create a wrestler from his WWE 2K with the horns and everything. And his application, and he was he was only in the Discord room for like a week. And he would only pop in there every once in a while. And he would just say like the weirdest things like, what's going on? I don't understand. And people would just laugh at him, And I'm like, oh, that's the Raging Skull. He's not going to make it.
Everyone wanted him to beat Jace. right?
Yeah.
Was that like TLS in disguise or something? Like, I can't remember.
I think when Raging Skull quit, it was such a funny OOC thing
Right.
that
Yes.
that 2 or 3 handlers picked up the mantle and collabed on his role plays.
I love that's why I love OCW. Wednesday night pile driver. We sort of already talked about
Yep.
that. Kurt Cannon. Who's Kurt Cannon?
That's my guy, man. He
That's
joined
your boy.
OCW. Yeah, he joined in like 1999. He's the second ever OCW champion. He beat Lur because Lur was out drinking and forgot to role play. And I've known him for 20 years. He's the funniest dude. He's a little bartender out in the Northeast. Great guy. We've done so many podcasts together. He's in the Triad Discord right now. Just a great guy, man.
That's awesome.
I am going to fly out to Philly at some point and go to his bar and mess with him. So.
Oh, nice. You actually wanted me to eat feather in real life.
I've met a couple. I've actually met a couple.
Oh, cool. Who have you met, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. I met Mario Morocco a couple of times. We went to Vegas and hung out, and we went out to Portland and partied. And Matt O'Connor, I met him out in San Diego. Him and his girlfriend, and then he invited me to his wedding. And
wow. Yeah, that's awesome. That is so cool.
They're good guys.
Sweet. When are you coming to Australia to hang out with me, man?
Next week. I'll be there soon.
Oh, shit, really? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, to make some space in the schedule. Bash's mum. Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say we'll go get some Mexican food together.
Yeah, sounds good, bro. But now, Bash was like Crash's son?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, his son and his role plays, yeah.
And what was the deal with his mum? Was it like we didn't know who it was, or something like that?
I think so. I that's one that I'm having trouble recollecting because I remember him taking care of the kid and having trouble, and then Lou being there, and Lou being like this guy that probably shouldn't.
Yes.
Children, you know.
Yeah, and I think I just put it on here because it was like a sort of like a mystery or something like that.
Yeah.
Whisper Mendoza, you made this character, right?
Yeah, I did. I don't know. I think Rob Dylan Thomas fell in love with her because when I created her, she's got like one of those cute little girl next door pick bases, and I just dropped a role play as her just to kind of help equality going on, and he started messaging her on the boards. Hey, Whisper, I just want you to know I really liked your role play, and I was like, dude, it's me. He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
You should not have told him it was you.
I can't catfish my boy, man.
But like, well, at least just to a point,
Just make him feel happy. Be like, yeah.
Oh, it was like that. It would have been like that meme, the one that I posted. And I said, "Eat that," as be and then you made the edit too, where it's just two fat dudes.
Yeah, that's all it is, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I mean, most women are handled by men in this. That's just how it goes.
Ones that are like super sexed up. I mean, if you look
yes.
If you look at Vodka, for instance, I mean, she's not out there doing like sex role plays with people. She's trying to be nice.
Yeah. She just shoves stuff up her vagina sometimes.
Oh yeah. Well, she's like sexual in a different way, not
in a funny way. Yeah, like
not that creepy. Yeah.
No, it's not like yeah. And the thing is, right? These guys make these like. Look, I'm not saying that every like dude who's made a female character is bad at it. I think that's it. I don't think that's true. But a lot of these people just make them for attention. They're like choose a very attractive pick base, and then like the character becomes more about getting attention and likes, and and everyone loves thought picks, so they get like 20 likes and 17 reposts, and anyway, it just bothers me sometimes because like those picks get more attention than like actual like quality role plays.
People putting in the work, yeah.
Yes, yeah, which bothers me. Anyway, The Lost Stranger. So that's TLS, right? That's like the
TLS.
Yeah. What's his deal? Like, I mentioned? I think I put him on here because like that his like backstory or something, or.
Well, he was the lost soul, and then he became the lost stranger, and then he became his own. Man, I don't know.
Sex god.
Yeah. But I've known him since 1999. So.
Wow, that's crazy. Big Biffid / Plethora.
Dude,
That's kind of like Mick Foley, right? Like different, same guy, different like
different
not
personas,
characters, personas. Yeah, that's the word, right?
When he wants to be super like menacing evil, he becomes Plethora.
Yes. And is he still part of is he part of Triad or OCW or anything like that?
I haven't really pushed hard to try to get him in Triad. He joined TPW for a little second as the Soda Pops because he wanted to beat this guy we know with the Soda Pops to piss him off, but he lost interest in it real quick. But
okay.
But yeah, he's not role playing at the moment. He pops up on Twitter every once in a while, and he'll send me a message whenever he's doing something crazy. But yeah, he's not been
right
yet.
Okay. The Knife Man.
Oh, the Knife Man.
That's a gynecologist or something, right?
Oh yeah, he's the medic / mechanic, and he's always got his knife, so he can like fix the ring, and then he can fix your wound.
Because I'm pretty. Sorry, go on.
No, yeah, the best Knife Man skit ever was we were doing a hazardous ladder match, which is one of my favorite all-time match stipulations. And what it is there's like 3 ladders at ringside. 2 of them are faulty, which means they'll fall apart when you get halfway up them. And then there's one that's true. And so I had like to like incorporate it. It showed the Knife Man grabbing a ladder to go fix this light fixture that was out, and it fell apart, and he fell down and injured himself. So.
Oh my god! Hazardous ladder match. That sounds cool.
They're fun. They're a good one to type.
Unofficial sports book. Who did this?
I don't know.
Someone did this. I think it was like a separate like thing that was created. Not like it like had other funds and stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
TLS might have been behind that. He likes the money stuff.
That's one we'll have to look back and go back to and find out what it actually was. I do know who Ball was though. Oh
yeah, Ball. He's in. There's this Fed Zenith. Crash Rodriguez runs it. And,
yes.
Ball's in the Discord. I don't know if he's role playing over there, but he's in the Discord.
He's just a big dude, right? Like massive guy.
His wrestler's name was Ball, and the pick base was Ball, Boll, the NBA basketball player.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the dude. He's like Ball also is like, it's funny because it's one of those like basketball players who is purely a basketball player because of how massive he is, right?
Yeah, but he couldn't be anything else.
Yeah, and then Ball kind of like started off rough, but I feel like he got a lot better as time went on.
He's got a lot of potential. He's somebody
definitely.
That if I hadn't been so, I don't know, burnt out, I could have worked with him more. But by the time he started getting, over, that was when Dre started booking, and then I didn't have much longer left in me. So,
multiple OCWs. We have kind of touched on this. So let's just quickly so there's PWA, there's Outsiders Championship Wrestling, and then is there like a third one?
Outcast Championship Wrestling, which is
Outcast Championship Wrestling.
Yes,
right.
Runs that place. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Omega Championship Wrestling from 2003, which was run by Josh Allen and Andy
Omega Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
So is that like a different one, but it's like shares the same name, or
what happened?
Like same initials.
Yeah, I gave it to Josh Allen, and he did he was one of my best role players. He did a sort of a reface of it, where he,
right.
A facelift. There you go. I don't know why I can't think of that word. He did a facelift of it, and it went from red and black online to this blue and silver color scheme of Omega. And he went out and he got a whole new roster, pretty much. And one of them, actually, the originals of Omega is Jack Sullivan, JJ. Sullivan. Yeah. So yeah.
Yes. Oh, awesome. That's cool. All right. Cool. All right. So we're on the third to last tier now.
Okay.
Starting to get quite deep. Great Scott.
God, that's Mike Best. And if you know Mike Best, then you kind of know about how that went.
Remember Mike Best and was it Nickelman? That was in the I remember I was actively screenshotting that and sending that to the handler of Dot, which was like Cypher's partner at the time. And just saying like, can you believe, like, look at this shit, it's so funny, because like it was another one of those things where it was like Nickelman was just trolling him into oblivion, and Mike Best was just saying more and more like outrageous things, like more and more like legitimate threats of violence.
Yeah, well, that's Mike, man.
I know.
Mike is one of the most talented handlers I've ever seen in this game. But man, that guy, when he gets mad, he goes straight for the most personal insult.
I guess the jugular. Yeah, he goes in.
It's like, dude, relax, man.
It's just, Whereas, like, I mean, it was just like Nickelman knew. I think after a while knew exactly what he was doing, and just like kept like just being like annoying and whatever. But like, it was just so funny, man. The amount of like people get really heated about this game.
Oh, they do.
Sometimes,
The ones who get the most heated are the ones you can easily fuck with, because I mean, like that's why Nickelman owned Mike Best, was Nickelman was there, and Mike Best was, why isn't this guy getting mad? I'm Mike Best.
Anyway, Hall of Flame.
Oh man, now that was our anti Hall of Fame. Basically, the handlers that came in, made a big scene, acted like idiots, and flamed out. And
it's awesome. I like that.
I think Melinda Rhodes is one of the top inductees.
Melinda Rhodes, who is she?
That's a handler named, I think his name's Rob. He handles Melinda Rhodes and Molly Hatchet. He's
Oh yes. Yeah. I remember Molly Hatchet blocked me. I think he blocked Cypher just for being involved with OCW.
Oh yeah. That guy. Oh man, like something would happen, and you'd wake up the next day, and you would have 4 massive paragraphs of text in your DM waiting for you, and they each one read like a different stage of grief. It would be like angry, sad, confused, and then at the end, I'm sorry, sad. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
I remember one time seeing Molly Hatchet tweet saying, "I'm tight as a drum." And like me knowing it was like a male handler was kind of like, that's such a gross thing to say. Anyway, but it's like the only person I've ever been blocked by, and I had 0 interactions with them. I don't think I'm blocked by them anymore, but it was funny. Anyway,
he's a crazy guy. He's legit crazy.
Aptitude Empire JFC, are those little stables like groups?
Yeah, those are those are the 3 biggest stables. Buff would be another one. Those are the most impactful stables.
Buff
was Siren and Silver Freak. JFC was Mario Morocco, Paul Paris, and the Great One, and Silver Cyanide. Aptitude was Matt Mayhew, CJ O'Donnell, and the Incredible One. And then Empire was Mike Best, Cecil Worth Farthington, Morocco, and Max Kale. And they were all very, very impactful.
Right. Okay, yeah, I think I remember that's why they were on here, just being very powerful stables in their own time. Women's title / hardcore title.
That's interesting that those two are lumped together. The women's title.
I don't know why. I don't remember why I put them together.
The women's title was, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, you had men's and women's divisions. So when I first opened OCW, it's like, all right, I got to have a women's title. Plus, I had a sister and a female cousin who liked to role play. So I had to have something that they could do. And, if you think tag divisions are tough, women's divisions were really hard back then to keep going.
Just to get enough, right?
Yeah.
Like, to get enough people. Yeah.
You had and it wasn't commonplace for men to handle women. No guys I know didn't want to handle female characters. Like,
yes, yeah.
And so at any given time, I'd have like 2 women, and after a while, you're just like, this ain't worth it, and I just retired it.
And what about the hardcore title?
That was probably the second biggest title throughout OCW's run. It was it's hardcore matches. I changed it to the Savage Championship when I decided to just get a little more creative with the names.
Oh, so that was that. I didn't actually know. I didn't realize. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Sebastian Stone, Gideon Cross.
Oh God, that guy. He's still around too.
I know.
to this moment, that is the only weirdo that has DM'd me on Twitter and had to designate whether or not he's talking to me IC or OC in a DM.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like newer people do because they're not sure, right?
Yeah,
but like once you like have been, into it for a fair bit, that DMs are like universally OOC. Like, unless said otherwise.
Yeah, he would DM me and he would put the slashes in there, and I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that.
Anyway, remember that match where he like got his face pulled off or whatever?
Yeah, it was like digitally pixelated or something.
Didn't TLS write that? Or someone wrote that?
No, I wrote
that. Or did you write that? You wrote that, yeah. And he got so mad.
Yeah,
he was so pissed off.
It was one of those moments where a lot of people liked it, and then some people were like, "That's not."
Some people were like, "That's too far," but then we all sort of like realized as time went on that this guy's just like not worth even being in the Fed. Lightweight title / division. So is that another like retired title or?
Yeah,
like
again, like the women's title back in the '90s and the early 2000s, you had a lightweight division, and it was like anywhere from like under 225 to under 215.
Yeah.
And you had a lightweight title, and that was around for a while until it became obsolete, and you just merged everybody together.
Yeah. I don't think like those kind of titles don't, except for like world heavyweight title or whatever. But like, it's not like you have to be a heavyweight to hold the world heavyweight title. So I don't think people really care too much about like weight classes anymore, unless you're doing MMA style Fed or some.
Yeah.
Some shit like that. Sadie Ko, we've already talked about. That was one of it's like she was basically like kind of a horror character, so like the Grudge or the Ring or whatever. I think I just put it on because like that was such a creative. I haven't seen anyone like it since, so I miss Sadie. I miss Sadie. That was so cool.
I think Sadie is actually in the Zenith Discord. So.
Oh, cool! Oh, awesome. I used to talk to her a bit. Yeah,
very, very
I used to
nice.
talk to him a bit.
Yeah, very talented writer too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I really was hoping to have like a program with them at some stage because, I think we could have got some really good stuff out of it. But anyway,
I remember thinking back then, like, all right, I can build around Sadie and Cypher moving forward, and then you stuck around, but Sadie didn't.
Yeah. Friday Night War, that was like the third show back in the day, right? How long was that like a thing for? Did it last very long?
Maybe a year, and then then we just stuck with Massacre and Pile Driver, and and then it changes days. But yeah, Friday Night War ended pretty early.
Mac O'Connor, that's someone you mentioned you met in real life.
Yeah, he's a great guy, Mac. I don't think he wants to role play anymore. He just doesn't enjoy it, but man, you and him have a very similar writing style.
Oh yeah, I think you mentioned that a while back. He sounds like a cool dude. I hope he comes back maybe sometime. That would be dope.
Well, I think he's in the Triad Discord, but he
hardly
at all.
Who's the Rebel Incarnate? I don't know. I don't actually remember who that is.
I think that's Melinda Rhodes.
Okay, we've already talked about Melinda Rhodes.
Yeah,
okay. Oh, that's funny. Oceanic title. How come I couldn't win that one? I'm from Oceania.
That's true. It would have made sense. So I start. Okay, so when I first created OCW, it was hardcore title, intercontinental title, OCW title, your standard titles that every Fed has. And then around 2002, I started thinking, I want different name titles. And so I thought, I'll create the Oceanic title. And I thought, that's so cool. And of course, Paris, who's one of the most talented writers ever, he sees it and he goes, so what does this mean, Will? Am I champion of the ocean? And I was like, I don't know.
Wait, did the Oceanic... no, at least she's champion of Australia plus New Zealand and Papua New Guinea,
There you go. We didn't think about that. He was like, so am I champion of the whole ocean? I go, I don't know, man. I guess. He goes, the ocean's like 70% of this planet, so does that make me bigger than the world champion? I was like, I don't know.
Actually, I mean, but the world champion is champion of the entire world, not just the ocean. So, But did the Oceanic title become the Transatlantic title?
I think
or
so.
no?
think I merged it with something. I don't know. There's all that title history.
Yeah. Do you know? I actually before this, I tried to go on the website and go to the OCW Championship, like World Championship history, and it 404s.
Oh, really?
All the other ones work, but that 404s for some reason.
That's the big one.
yeah. You might need to give Dre a call and say, "Hey, man, what the fuck's going on?" Anyway, GeoCities.
Oh, GeoCities. Okay.
GeoCities.
So, this is more for the older people from the game. So when e-fetting was really popular in the late 90s, early 2000s, you had this thing called Angel Fire, where you could go and you could create websites on Angel Fire for free.
Yeah.
And that's where most feds created their websites, was on Angel Fire. Well, then GeoCities came up, and it was like the Facebook to Angel Fire's MySpace. It was another platform where you could go create websites for free. And so people started moving their stuff over to GeoCities because it was superior.
Right. Yes.
And I started moving a lot of OCW stuff over there and running OCW over there. Well, in the 2000s, Yahoo, I don't know if they always owned GeoCities or if they had acquired it, but Yahoo had GeoCities, and they said that they were going to wipe everything. So you had like 90 days notice to go on there and get your stuff before it got wiped.
Right.
And me back in those days, I just drank all the time and I forgot. And so
no.
A good chunk of OCW history just got wiped.
Oh my god. Wow.
And a lot of e-fetting too. There was a lot of e-fetting on GeoCities that just got wiped out.
Which is, I mean, it makes sense because, like, I imagine it's like to even just like move all that stuff would be a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
To get everything over.
Yep.
Well, maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe you just copy and paste. I don't know.
A little bit.
I don't know how it worked back then.
Hey, it's a lot of work in general just for e-fetters to do anything. So.
Oh, it's true. Yeah. So some people find it easy to write an entire show, or some people will find it hard to write 2,000 words. Just be like that.
You're right about that.
Zabala's 10%. So Zabala owned 10% of the company. I think that's what that's referring to, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, back during that storyline with Thad. Yeah.
Yeah, which is I always thought was really funny.
Yeah.
You just like it's kind of just like random, but like it's cool. I like that he owns a little bit of the company that he works so hard for. But so now there's like a couple that I put in actually just today. Fate of Marcus Welsh. What? Okay. Is he dead?
No, he's alive. He basically I was when I left and handed it to Dre, I said that Marcus Welsh's plane went down over the Orient.
Yes, that's what I saw.
And that was a joke because when I quit OCW a while back and handed it to somebody else, I just explained like this plane went down over the Orient. Like that was some really specific thing. It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? And,
what is the Orient?
Yeah, exactly, right? It was just so nondescript and generic. And,
did he get out of the plane? Like, did he... Did he parachute down? But he survived. He survived.
So when Triad came back, the explanation was Welsh faked his demise, and he went. He went to go to seek out the Triad, and Pick and TLS found him, and that's how the Triad all got started.
Okay. Did they find him like half naked, like wandering, like no?
Well, he's actually in the Himalayas running a fight tournament.
Oh my god!
Because that's all he can do. That's all he knows how to do is run.
That is great. Oh well. Now, but I put this in just today because I was reading like your last post as Marcus Welsh on the OCW boards, and in one of the last ones, he's setting up fans all around the arena, and then he turns them on, and someone says, "Why are you doing it?" And he says, like, to show the power of the wind. Do you remember that at all?
I have no idea what that means.
I put it up here because I thought you...
I have no idea what that means. To show the power of the wind.
Hold on, just give me 1 second because I might be able to go back and find. There was so I don't want to waste too much time here, but I have to find it.
That has to be.
Once,
I mean, there was something behind that.
yeah,
I'm not
no
that
doubt.
crazy.
No. I'm just trying to find you. Where are you? Why can't I? Oh, I guess it's on.
Was it on the
You
CE
guys.
board?
I'm just trying to find. I'm just trying to find your. That
I
ma-
want to
I was,
say.
there we
I want
go.
to say maybe Bifford was had a joke about the power of the wind.
All right. Recent posts. Okay. So the review, the update. Okay. We cut to Marcus Welch standing outside OCW Arena, double fisting McDonald's coffee. He's watching a team of experts erect giant poles with what looks like a fan at the top of each. Are these windmills? Welch continues to supervise. Welch, yes, yes, I want these around the entire arena. That guy who looks up like he just got his education in green engineering steps up. I just think this is amazing. Welsh has no reaction. It just is what it is. Guy, using windmills to create electricity? That's so green, man. You're doing so much for the world. Welsh has no idea what this guy is talking about. Yeah, that's not what these are for. They aren't? No, in fact, these things are being run on giant generators powered by gas. But that doesn't make any sense. Yes, it does. They are here to redirect and nullify it. Welsh stares into the camera. The power of the wind. We cut out. Explain.
Okay, that's a Bifford thing. I think Bifford Bifford was talking about how he was he was banned from the Illuminatus, and so he said, "I'm gonna get there." I'm like, "No, you're not." And he says, "I will get there via the power of the wind." And I was like, "No, we're gonna negate the power of the wind."
So you have to set up the fans somehow.
To redirect the wind into another area.
Fucking hell, that is such a funny segment. Anyway, all right. So second to last here, Murder House War. I mean, we have sort of already talked about that, but yeah, that was a death match between OCW and Murder House, and I guess Murder House died.
Yes, they died a very spectacular death.
Yeah, indeed. Fake hostile takeover. Now, I remember you telling me about this. It was sort of like
God. Oh man, yes.
This is like a very old thing, I think, right?
It's 2014, yeah.
Okay.
So I needed a break. I went on hiatus, and Chad Vargas, Danny B, and Ian Bishop took over the Fed and ran it.
Mm-hmm.
And after the summer, I came back and they were having a lot of trouble. And I said, all right, well, I can come back and help you guys run it. And we came up with this storyline where I was going to act like I was just taking the Fed back from them. You know, and
right.
Very
yes.
much a blurred lines kind of thing. And I thought it would be so cool because they wouldn't know what's real and what isn't. But it turns out it's not cool. It's not a good idea ever to blur the lines with handlers. They freak out. And
yes.
I became just the most hated person. We did
a
show. Yeah, again, with my own Fed this time. And I called into the radio show that Rick was hosting, and I just yelled at him and made fun of him and told him, I'm taking over the Fed. I have the domain, and I'm going to come in there. And he's like, no, Will, please. And I put like this clock up on the main website that said 3 days until Dean takes over. And everybody got freaked out and scared. They said after the radio show, people were crying. It was just
God.
Yeah.
Crying. My God, guys.
And so we did a disclaimer that, hey, it's just a storyline. But long story short, like we lost 75% of the roster.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But that you know what? Props to you for having the balls to try and do something like that. I mean, of course you do. You do anything, but it's pretty.
Like it might be fun. You try it, and then if it doesn't work, you're like, all right, never again.
Yeah. Oh, till next time. The jungle. What is that? I don't know what that is.
The jungle. God, what is the jungle?
Is it like the island, or is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll come back to it if
Yeah.
someone has an epiphany. Andy Murray. Now, surely that's not just the British tennis player.
I thought it might be for a while, and he had to correct me. He said, "No, unfortunately, I'm not that guy." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, man."
Imagine Andy Murray signed up for OCW. Who is Andy Murray? The EFED
All right,
version.
Andy Murray. He joined OCW back in 2000. Yeah, 2000. All right, so we had this lull in roster members, and so what you could do is you could go to Feds and get emails and just mass spam people with emails to join.
Yes.
All these Fed heads put their emails on the website, and so I got like 20 applications in 3 days, and one of them was Andy Murray, and I did this Rookies Night Out pay-per-view where I put them all in like a multi-person match, and whoever the best one was, whoever prevailed, got a title shot. Andy Murray. And he went from like really bad to really good really fast. And
awesome.
He ended up co-owning the Fed, and he's actually I hesitate to say because but he's actually he makes a living in media now. He's
Oh, really?
You could find him in media if you look for him. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, well, I'm in media also, so there you go.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Perfectly Marvelous. That was a character, right?
That was Perfect Paul Paris and Marvelous Mario Moraca. That's
as a team.
Yes, that's best tag team we ever had. Two really good guys.
That's right. Yeah.
I think Paul Paris might be the best role player I've ever read.
Paul Paris. Wow.
Yeah,
he needs to be on here then.
He does. I tried to get him in Triad, and he said he'd take a look, but most of these guys they got lives. These freaking.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh no, that's cool though. Declassified promo. Was this something was that something that you cut?
Yeah.
Or...
Oh man, this is one of my biggest regrets. So we were rolling, doing really well in like 2019.
Yeah.
And do you remember all the news about how people were gonna camp out at Area 51 and they were gonna storm the compound? Okay.
Yes.
So
we
were gonna have a pay-per-view outside Area 51 with all those people as the fans. And we were calling it Declassified because we were going to help declassify all the secret documents. And the entire theme was aliens. And we did a video promo where I did cuts from Plan 9 from Outer Space with the really shitty looking saucers and everything. And
yes,
such a great concept, but it never happened. Like we just the Fed. I got burned out before I could get to it. So.
So all right. So that's why it's like the promoting that. Yeah.
I'll send it to you. It's a pretty funny.
I'm trying to remember if I've seen it before. Maybe not. I definitely know of its existence because it's on here. So, Penny Lord's Play Pit. That was an OCW TV show, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That's Rob Dylan Thomas. He's got Penny Lord, and he's got Lord Alton, and he's got
wow,
a lot of characters. He's
a lot of characters.
He's very immersed in his EFED. The funny thing about Rob was he's one of the last guys I ever got from an email recruiting campaign, and he.
Really?
He came from a 2K Fed. And
okay.
Yeah, he had never really done this before, and he loves it. So he's one of my favorite handlers that I've got to know over the last several years.
So the Mob.
The Mob. Okay, the Mob was a stable that was created by Lur. He's my cousin. He's the guy that got me into e-fedding. And he's Italian, so he's always loved the Mob, and he created the stable called the Mob.
Oh no, not the Mob, the Mop, MOP.
The Mop. The Mop. I love the Mop, man. The Mop is a great character. I was trying to get the Mop to join Triad, but they wouldn't do it.
Wait, did you create the Mop? Wasn't the Mop you? Yeah, didn't you make the Mop?
No, the Mop is an actual handler on Twitter, Mop Cassidy. Yeah.
I always thought that was you.
No, man. I had the Mop come in and do a match with Zeus. And I wrote the match, and Zeus just kept tripping on the Mop and kept the Mop. He stepped on the Mop, and it shot up and hit him in the face and knocked him out.
Oh, that's so good. Omega, is that a? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the spinoff. I don't want to call it the spinoff. That's the That's the tenure from when Josh
that was
and
it.
Andy Murray
Yeah,
were
right.
OCW, and they just made it their own and changed it to Omega. And
Omega Championship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Siren?
Siren is my guy, man. That is my favorite role player of all time. He writes for a living. He's written books. He's just a funny dude, man. He was going to come back for the Island pay-per-view that I was going to do before I left. The Survival.
Oh shit!
I named it Survival of the Fightiest.
Because I think I asked you before I put this together, who are some of the greatest OCW wrestlers of all time.
Yeah. Siren is Siren is the Hogan of OCW. He's the first homegrown badass, could go to any Fed and beat anybody caliber talent that we had.
Cool. Mayhew.
Oh, Mayhew. Mayhew's the modern day Siren. He came in.
Right.
He was in Boardwalk and was dominant there, and then he retired when Boardwalk closed, and then the Incredible One got him to join, and they formed Aptitude, and then Mayhew won the OCW title, and he held it for almost over a year before he lost it to Paris. Ironically, as we just.
Oh wow! Yeah, right. Yeah. And so was he the longest reigning OCW champion?
I think he was I don't know if the word's consecutively or not, but without a hiatus,
Yes.
Go on hiatus for a couple of years.
Yeah.
In terms of having to consecutively defend his title, absolutely. And I mean, he beat Vargas, he beat TIO. I mean, he just ran through everyone. Mac O'Connor, just very, very good. He's actually dad bod in Triad right now.
Oh, right. Cool. Yeah. I heard a lot about dad bod. Apparently it's pretty good.
Yeah, there's a lot being said about dad bod these days.
All right. So now I have a couple. I guess all three of these were from trash threads. So,
oh god, the trash threads. Those are beautiful.
So trash threads is if you ever go digging around those different forums, want some funny stuff. First one is this one. I mean, it's very inconsequential and not really had any impact on OCW whatsoever. But mummisms. This guy whose account has since been deleted posted this thread called "My Mum's Mummisms," and you like this as Mark as well, and so did Paul Paris. So apparently, this was actually quite well received at the time. He said, "Mummisms are what I will henceforth refer to the hilarious, stupid things that my mum has said in my 32 years of being on Earth. There have been multiples of these over the years, as you can well imagine. The best thing about these are that they are said so straight-faced with no hint of joking or irony whatsoever. My mum's sense of humor is quite often lacking." Okay, so two in particular come to mind right now. But expect this topic to fill up, as there will no doubt be more. I've always said I could write a book of this stuff. Number one, a few summers ago, my mum was talking to my older sister while checking the calendar. She was supposed to say June the 5th is on the Saturday or whatever. No, my mum actually said June the 5th is on the 5th. And when my sister and I burst out laughing, my mum couldn't work out why. She saw nothing wrong with what she said. Number two. Okay, this happened a few years ago. Over here in the UK, we have a discount store called Poundland, where everything is, or was at the time, it's just most things now, £1. I'm on a holiday with the parents, and we're looking around the store. She comes up to me holding a knife set and says, "Rob, how much are these?" And once again, I laugh, although I try holding it in for her sake, but fail. I say to her, "Mum, where are we?" Poundland. I grin and then go, "Great, so how much?" She goes quiet. It's just what? Where did this come from?
I know who that is now. UK and Rob. That is Rob Dylan Thomas.
Really? Is that is that tongue in cheek, or is that
No, I think he's. I think he really thinks his mom is unintentionally funny. Rob's not much for sarcasm. Like what he tells you is pretty much
okay, all right, okay. Anyway, sorry, that's just a funny aside.
I totally forgotten about that.
Okay, so these two are kind of related to each other. The Groot RP.
Oh God, yes. Oh man, this can open a whole can of worms with Action Wrestling.
Really? Wait, are they in? Is the person in?
It caused a giant flame war with Action Wrestling.
So, if anyone was just wondering, the Groot RP is by Melinda Rhodes, and
it's
isn't it on Melinda? Sorry, Melinda Rhodes' fangirl, The Forgotten.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Melinda Rhodes.
No, you're cool. The Groot role play was written by Madman Zelinsky, aka Ross Hansen.
Okay.
You've probably seen him. He pops up every 4 or 5 months, is all excited to be back in e-fighting, and then totally ruins everything and runs away after about a month and a half. But he was in OCW, and he was kind of Mike Best and them were kind of picking on him, And
yes.
So he had a match, and he wrote. It was against a jobber, and he wrote the I Am Groot role play, and the role play was just I Am Groot for like 2000.
So yeah, it's literally just I Am Groot over and over again with like different punctuation, exclamation marks, and spacing. That's it. Like it literally is just a complete devotion to the bit. So did he go over? Did he win?
No, he lost to Zeus after that. Because I was just when I read that and it's stuff like that. It builds up, right? Because he had been kind of shitty and had been kind of rocky, and then he just did that, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, man. And so then I
put
Zeus over, and so what he ended up doing, he was in Action Wrestling at the time, and they had Action Wrestling. From what I had understood, they told him to post that. So
okay, damn.
After we jobbed him out, next thing I know, we get some applications on the OCW forum for like Bach the Raccoon, these knockoff Guardians characters. And
right,
what the fuck? And then we start flaming back and forth with them, and it just got this giant flame war. But then one of them signed up with their personal email address.
No!
So we Googled
God!
it, and we found out they were from Action Wrestling. We actually found out where the guy works. Mike Best.
Wow!
Rogue on that guy.
My God!
And then we went on the Action Wrestling forums and started fucking with them a little bit. And the minute we did that, then I get a message from Action Wrestling. Hey, man, I think it's best if we just cool down. I'm like, oh, now you think it's best that we stop this, now that it's come to your forum.
So the guy later made a post. The only reason I found out about this is because it's in the trash threads saying I am Groot in brackets, sorry. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? And so I went on this person's thing and I scrolled back and I found it and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then it's funny because they do a follow-up to it where it sort of breaks the fourth wall because it's the person's finished writing the I Am Groot roleplay and then the other person's you did it? For real? You did it? Hang on. And they're like, it's right here. I didn't close the window after I clicked publish. And they're like, oh, right. And this person's just
remember that. Maybe that's why I was like, all right, I'm jobbing this guy out.
It was and the other person's like, I am Groot. I am. And he's like, how long has it been since you ate? Oh, God, that was so funny. Anyway, and the other one that's related to this is Pocket Baku.
Yeah, that's one of the people from Action Wrestling we got into it with.
So they were pleading to. So they were pleading to have an actual raccoon wrestle in OCW.
Yeah, they were just trolling us, and we were going after them, and then then we found, we said, we found their emails, and what I did was I took the OCW account and I followed their personal accounts on Twitter, and when I did that, they immediately erased their accounts on the forum. But then Mike Best, he took it a step further and emailed one of the guys' work, which he shouldn't have done that. But that's Mike Best. So
I love this guy saying, What if he's a huge raccoon? I could just change his stats? Like, it'd be less realistic IMO, but like, if that makes you okay with it, I'll make that change. Please, at least I'm not Groot, you know? It's just like, after writing after probably helping with the Groot RP or whatever, it's like, his entrance theme was going to be Rocky Raccoon by the Beatles. And his hometown was Dumpster in parts unknown. And his trademark maneuvers were going to be scratches and bites. Yeah. So in one of your responses, you say, I told the Blue Dragon thing no, and I'm mixing this raccoon idea. What was the Blue Dragon idea?
Okay. So there is this handler. God, he used to handle his main character was what's the Legion, but it's not the current Legion that has like 5 different characters.
Oh yeah,
there's some guy named Legion. He's still around, but anyway, when I did OCW Survivor, that was open to a lot of people, and he wanted to come do it as Kalinda Kraigsdorf or whatever, and it was a Blue Dragon woman thing, and it's like. And it's like on Survivor, and they get voted out real fast because everybody's like, "I don't like this person. This is weird." So, So me being the Fed ed, I'm like, "Well, do you want to role play here?" And they're like, "Yeah, that would be cool. I like your writing." I said, "Okay, cool. Who do you want to be?" I said, "I want to be Kalinda Kraigsdorf." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. I can have you come down in like a dragon suit." And I'm like, "No, man, I'm an actual dragon." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, you're actually not getting in. So
you're actually not getting. I'm actually not booking an actual dragon.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry."
And also, I put this on the tier below, but it links into everything anyway. They were asking you to have for the raccoon to have a animal fighting division in OCW.
I remember that. Yes.
And you said, I actually considered that idea a few months ago. The duck was our first sighting, but he's such a pretty duck that I couldn't risk a feather on his head getting hurt or stained by the blood of other fowl. So I cancelled the idea. What did you actually? Were you actually considering making an animal league?
No.
Damn.
The duck was a huge mascot in OCW for a while. It's based off that meme. Have you ever seen that meme on the internet where there's that duck and they're petting it? It's just like this really pretty white duck. It's like, damn, that's a nice duck.
Yeah.
So I, for whatever reason, I just thought that meme was awesome because I would just see like it just pop up in the most random places. Like, damn, that's a nice duck. So I just started doing it in the shows, and then the duck became like our mascot, and it would show up at shows in a cage, and we'd give it to people, and they'd be like, "Damn, that's a nice duck," and you'd pass it around. I don't know, weird stuff.
Okay, all right. Just before we get to the last tier, I just have to go take a piss. I will be right back. I promise.
I will be here. I will.
Okay.
I will
yeah, entertain the masses. Talk about whatever, you know.
Absolutely, I will talk about whatever.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, while Cypher is gone, I will go ahead and remind everybody listening to this that Triad is a current pro wrestling tournament. We're in the midst of our strength trials. Our next event, Night 6, will air on Wednesday, November 15th, I do believe. And our first set of tribulations will air live on radio, the results being given based on the role plays, 2 winners advancing if we get 2 role plays, this Wednesday on Triad Radio. The role play deadline for the tribulations is Sunday evening, which is probably going to be today, assuming I get this posted on the right day. And the role play deadline for night 6 will be Sunday, November 12th at midnight Eastern. And if you're interested in doing Triad, and if you've liked what you heard and think I'm not too crazy, I haven't scared you off with my weirdness, you can enlist to compete in the WIT trials. Those start in February. You can go to the Triad forums. They're linked on all the Triad social media, and you can fill out an application, enlist, and we will review it, and we will have another draft, and we will pick the 12 most qualified applications to compete in the third and final series of trials. So there's that. And the winners of the trials will go on to the Great Illuminatus, where they will have a chance to unite the triad. So you, even though you've missed bravery and strength, you can get into wit and you can still win the whole thing. So there we go. A nice little pitch for triad.
All right, cool. I'm back.
Yeah, I just showed the shit out of triad. So.
That's fine with me, man. All right, so here we are. We're finally going to finish this bloody thing. All right, we got one left. All right, this is the final tier. Scoot time.
Okay, Scoot time was the original Raging Skull. He signed up to OCW in like 2001, just out of the blue, and it was clear this guy was either 8 years old or just had no idea of what was going on. And he posted just a couple of role plays, and they were like 5 lines of words that didn't even go together. And it was just so comically bad that he just became a recurring jobber. And he was
man.
He's the classic OCW jobber, Scoot time.
The boom. What's the boom?
Boom. That's another jobber. This guy joined, and this guy had to be young. Like this guy for sure was young, like 9 or 10 years old. And he joined OCW, and he was all really excited, and he loved e-fedding, and he said, "I want to start my own fed." And I was like, "Okay, all right, go for it." And he was like, "Can you join my fed?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll join your fed." He goes, "Okay, cool." And I joined as the Pebble, and I was just like, I just did rock promos as the Pebble. The Pebble was,
I love the Pebble.
And he wrote his first show, and I was in the match for his Fed championship, and it was a ladder match. And I'll never forget. It was about 5 lines long, and it was the Pebble and these other 2 wrestlers climb the ladder. The ladder, they fall down, and the Pebble's the champion. That's all it was.
They just so they just fell down.
Yeah, like they climbed, they fell down. The Pebble has the title.
So did the Pebble even knock them off, or did they just
I don't know. We were on the ladder, we fell down, and I had the title. So.
Well done. How long was the Pebble champion for? Did it have a long reign?
Probably still the champion. I think the Fed didn't have another show after that.
Okay, the longest reigning champion or whatever that Fed was called.
Yes.
Kreller Masters?
Kreller Masters was a pretty talented role player that joined. He was about mid-level role player. Not bad, not great, but not bad. Good, solid role player.
Sure.
And Lur, okay, there's this whole fucking shit story behind this. So
this is probably why it's on here, I guess.
Yeah, Lur was the OCW champion, and Titan 3 was the number 1 contender. And Titan 3 took e-fedding very seriously. Very seriously.
Right.
Lur just liked talking shit and beating people and whatever. And so Titan 3 was talking about how I've been waiting for this match for a year. I cannot wait to face you, Lur. This is going to be one of the biggest matches of my career. I'm so excited. And so Lur goes, "Hey, book me against Kreller Masters for the title." I said, "Okay." And so Lur just purposely no-showed against Kreller Masters to ruin the match against Titan 3. Just to fuck with it.
Oh, my goodness.
And then Kreller Masters, he ended up stealing some role plays from this guy named Everlast, who was really good, and trying to use them in another Fed, and he got all outed for it. It was a whole big deal with him after that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just quickly trying to find something else for something that's coming up. Hold on. Where are we?
I do remember it was a guy named like Zed or something. He was in the Fed, and he joined, and he was real, I don't know, nobody liked him. And so we did this, he didn't role play, so I just did the skit. I used to do this all the time. This was back how e-fedding was in the early 2000s, or maybe it's just how I was. But when somebody no-showed, I would just have him die on the show randomly. And so like Zed, it was like, "Zed won't be able to make it to his match tonight, folks. We have some unfortunate footage we need to show." And we cut to Zed driving to the show, and he sees some girls, and he blinks out the window. He's like, "Hey, the girl!" And he just drives off a cliff and dies. And we play Saturday. Off the bridge.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right. So, what's next? Here we go. The Great One.
The Great One. Okay. So there was an interfed community called XCW, And
yes.
we joined, and they had a lot. The stuff didn't make a whole lot of sense back in early e-fetting. Like we were XCW West, and I'm like, why the fuck are we West? We travel all over the country. But anyway, we were the West. We were the West portion of XCW, and there was like 4 or 5 of us in there, and every 4 months we would have an XCW pay-per-view where our champions would fight the champions from the other feds. And what I would just do is on those shows, I would talk to the other wrestlers and I would recruit them to come join OCW. They would. And TGO was one of them. He just jumped after the big Interfed show. And he was solid. He was a lot like, I don't know. He was a big heel, and he acted like he was the heeliest heel that ever healed. And got on a lot of people's nerves. And I ended up having to fire him because he was talking shit about me while I was gone, and I fired him from Las Vegas. I sent a tweet out that I'd fired him, and I blocked him from the forums when I was in Vegas drinking. I was with Morocco. It was crazy. That guy.
Nice. Yeah. Fresh tattoo.
Fresh.
Does that mean? I think it was a tattoo that Crash had on him, and like we couldn't figure out where it came from or something. I don't know.
I don't remember that.
It's too obscure for us to even know.
Yeah.
Oh god, went too deep. I'm trying to find this post by Bifford because it's like it ties into one of these ones at the bottom, and it's like that. Well, I'll just have to say what I remember of it. Anyway, Murder Fed.
Yeah, that's I think making fun of Murder House.
It was, yeah, it was like the parody or whatever.
Oh, the parody show that I wrote.
Yes.
It
was like a parody of Murder House from memory, and it was like everyone was like, "Oh, I'm the strongest, most murderous person around," or something.
Yeah. And I think I had the show in because this wrestler called the Gas Chamber came out, and he just ripped ass, and everybody died. So,
all right, and then what's RMV? Does that mean anything to you?
RMV.
RNV. N for Nelly. N for Nelly. Too obscure.
Yeah.
The Tooth Fairy.
Oh, the Tooth Fairy. That was Titan 3. He
all right.
He was joining OCW. He was like, it would be like if if some big if like I don't know, whoever's the XWF champion, Thunder Knuckles, if he was going to join another Fed, it was this big name we all knew, and he wanted to come in as the Tooth Fairy so people wouldn't know who he was, so he could win the title and then unmask. It's me. Kind of like what Pitt did, is Mick Dozeron.
Oh, right.
So he was the Tooth Fairy, and then everybody liked the character so much that he just said, "Yeah, y'all can. I'll just RP as the Tooth Fairy and Titan 3." And then the Tooth Fairy ended up getting killed by the murderer, by Bifford.
Oh shit!
So.
Oh god. Okay. Where are we? Ice skating rules.
Yeah. So Bifford ran OCW for like a month. And he created this ice skating teddy bear mule match where guys rode mules with ice skates over an ice rink, and they had to get to teddy bears or something. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh, that sounds hilarious.
I just remember I gave it to him, and I thought, let's see how it is when I go to the OC board and it's pink and purple. I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm taking it back.
So I've never heard of ice skating rules before that. Yeah. So now the thing I was trying to find is this is the last one on the list, which is Bifford's one complaint, and it was from this like. He made a post. I think it was after. Oh no! I found it. I just found it. I was like looking for it the entire time that I was talking to you. This is the March 6th Massacre review. So I think that might have been one of the like last ones you did, or one of the first ones that Strata did. It says, "Hey friends, this is Bifford. First of all, I'd like to say how much it sucks the stuff that happened to Will." Recently. This is a very stupid game, and when people treat it like it's their whole life, it's a very weird and scary thing. Do you know what was he referring to there? Was he like just more drama, or
that guy doxing me because I fed? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. This is a very stupid game. There was one time, in 22ish years, that I really disagreed with the decision Will made. You son of a bitch, jobbing me to that fucker. What is he referring to there?
Okay, so we had this big it was Cecil Worth Farthington. He lost to him.
Right.
At this pay-per-view we had called it was at Redacted. We did a pay-per-view called
Redacted
in North Korea. And
man, they should really be on the Iceberg.
and they did these gentleman games because Farthington was the consummate gentleman, you know.
Yes.
Bifford was like, well, I'm a gentleman. And of course, Bifford's nothing like a gentleman. And so they did these gentleman games where each massacre building to the pay-per-view, they played chess against each other, and they did all these like gentleman things, you know, and then they get to the pay-per-view and they're trying to impress Kim Jong-il with their gentleman gestures, you know, and stuff. And then they had the match, and Farthington went over, and Bifford thought he should have gone over. That's the only time he was ever mad that he lost.
That's so funny. Yeah, I was just like searching for that constantly while you were going through these last ones because I wanted to find the actual post.
Yeah,
he'll let
me live that one down.
Cool. All right, well, we did it. That's the whole thing. We did the whole thing. And now you've probably given me some ideas for like new shit to add. I'll probably just keep adding to this as time goes on. Now that I'm sort of back into it,
like an updated one, and like make it the like the OCW / Triad, because
yes,
Triad can definitely have some stuff on there right now.
Okay, yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I could definitely make like another one. Try and like include like all new stuff or something like that to keep it interesting, you know.
I really enjoyed it, man. It was fun talking to you.
It's been fun. Lots of fun doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice to do some fun E-Fed stuff because sometimes it gets a little, you know how E-Fed can get. So
yeah, full on. Yeah, I'm glad that you survived the attack of that nerd or whoever it was that doxed you. Who was that?
It's this guy named Gabe Reno, and he, basically, we found some stuff that he posted that was, you know, pretty toxic, like racist toxic.
Yes.
And so I fired him because I just couldn't deal with that.
Yeah.
And then he started coming after me, and then he started messaging me on Twitter with my real name and saying that he was going to tell people in my community that I had pushed a black woman down the stairs and had yelled at her a racial slur. And I was like, what?
That's hilarious.
Then he started signing up on the forums, like with my sister's name and stuff. And I just
holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and so I had to I was like, I gotta get out of here. And what I did was I wiped all my social media and got to where he couldn't connect me to anybody that, you know, I cared about or that mattered in my life, so that he couldn't.
Oh my god!
And then I found out where he lived. I know where he lives. I know where he works. So I got all this shit on him, which I'm not going to use it unless like I have to.
So did he stop sort of like pretty quick after you found out all this shit about him? Or?
What happened was he just kept fucking with me. Like I would log into my email and I would have all these emails from like the suicide hotline. He had like registered me.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So
after a while, I just emailed him and I said, "Hey, real name, why don't you focus more on job that your position at this company, or maybe go see how to put his mom's name, how blank is doing. Be a good son rather than being a creepy internet weirdo." And then he fired back with this just insane ranting email, but I haven't heard much from him since. So.
Man, that's some fucking crazy people in this game, man.
Yes. Do not mess with this guy. He's off the map.
All right. Well, hopefully I won't have to.
I think they found him in WGWF. He's RPing over there as Dubois or something like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the chat, man. It was fun.
Yeah, dude. It's awesome.
And I'm looking forward to the recording being posted. And also the backlash, you know what I'm saying?
Now, I have one question for you before we end this.
Yeah.
Are you going to enlist in the wit trials?
You
don't have to.
When is the wit trials again? How far away are we?
February.
February.
Yeah.
You know what?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'll give it at this stage, non-binding commitment that I will. Non-binding.
That sounds like every relationship I've ever had in my life.
Oh, I was gonna ask, you said so your sister and you say your cousin role played?
Oh yeah,
Do they still role play, or they're over it now?
No, my sister. I have two younger sisters, and they both role played. One got really into it, and she was pretty good. The other one, she hated it. She just she just did it because her older brother told her to do it, and then once she realized she could say no, she's like, I ain't doing that no more.
Oh, cool.
But my cousin, he got me into it, and he was role playing up until about a year or two ago. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man. Well, look, yes, I'll say non-binding. Yes. If anything happens between now and then, I'll dip out. But I'm actually writing a character development, which is going to explain why Cypher is no longer in prison.
Perfect. I can't wait to read it. What we'll do is, if you want, we'll post it on the Triad forums too, just to get us some more exposure.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it should be done hopefully this week. I've almost finished it. Awesome. So it should be fun.
I always love your stuff, man.
Yeah. So he's he's going into his Whitehood era, which is why I changed the profile pic. It's like an AI generated version of Rami with a Whitehood.
Okay.
Because so basically what it means is after he gets out of prison, he's gonna have all these radical Cypher fans who they are wearing different colored hoodies because they're inspired by him, and so the white hoodie helps him stand out from everyone else.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so it's it's also just a new era kind of thing, but and I'm also thinking of actually making him have a manager. Because people don't do managers that much anymore, do they?
Not really.
No.
I think Stratford has his wife as his manager in Triad, but I think this is maybe the only one.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna make a full new character for her or anything. It was just gonna be one of these Cypher fanatics that is gonna be his second in command, and different hoods are gonna mean different things for what they do. So
you could almost do something to where it's every town you go to, every Fed you go to, it's a different manager, it's a different Cypher or hood in that. It's everywhere you go, you've got allies.
Definitely, because I feel I feel he's someone who resonates with the fucking degenerate, toxic.
Yeah, well, it comes off to me as kind of like a Tyler Durden, like a Fight Club, or he resonates with a frustrated, angry part of society that's held down.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And that's why, because Free Cypher, the hashtag Free Cypher thing was a thing when he first got sent to jail. Heels were tweeting hashtag Free Cypher. And so I was you know what? It could actually become a movement. So that's why I was doing my return thing. I was when an idea becomes a movement. So it's while he's been in jail, this kind of political kind of movement has been festering and growing. And now that he's out, they're all fuck yeah, let's take over the world kind of deal. Yeah. So anyway,
I love it.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see where it goes, and
absolutely.
So, all right, man. Well, it's been fun.
Yeah, dude, it's been great, man. Had a great time. It's good to have you back, and I look forward
It's good to be back.